Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
Anything else you forget about my intro today?
No.
The NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy
Did I
old
not say
man.
that?
No,
Did I
you
say
didn't. What a
Okay.
flop.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? He's our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man.
And who are you?
Grumpy. No, we haven't given out the Gilligan Award yet for today. What is this?
You are TJ, your host.
Did I
TJ.
not say that I'm TJ?
No.
Oh, did I just botch the entire intro?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I can tell by those eyes. Kim's confirming those eyes. We botched the intro. No worries. Yes, I'm TJ. This is Grumpy. We're on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast, if I didn't say that. Grumpy's here, as always. We also have special guests. IslesGirl3, also known as Kim. Kim's on us here with the show this Saturday evening.
What's up? I don't know. I don't have like a grand intro like Grumpy. No one can outdo him. So
he's got to, right? If you don't give him exactly this or exactly that, you see what I'm dealing with over here. For everybody, Grumpy tries to play the, oh, TJ's so mean to me. Yeah, you're showing your true colors over here, Grump.
Anything else we want to talk about?
Well, yes, of course. Don't worry, we're getting to it, Grumpy. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is a twice-a-week All Islanders podcast that takes place every single Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, what is that, Grumpy?
Not quite 8 o'clock.
It's close. It's close, Grumpy. But if you're new to the show, we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. Also, we've got a secondary podcast that happens every Thursday and Sunday. What's that podcast called, Grumpy?
I don't know. Why don't you pull it up? It's TJ and the grumpy old man.
Oh, hold on. Why is
you were going to read it how it was spelled and presented? That's what it'd be. That's why I need an introduction, because I get like a little byline down at the bottom. That's all I get.
Is that all you get, Grumpy?
Pull it up.
I don't know.
Oh, there it
It looks
is.
like we're kind of equals on that, Grumpy, when I'm looking at how that design was done. TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. But
Mhm.
but TJ and the Grumpy Old Man is a all sports podcast. Again, we talk anything and everything sports. NHL, NBA, NFL, college athletics, world football, anything and everything sports every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link can be found here as a featured page on our YouTube channel.
We
And
also have someone else who's on that show.
who else is on that show, Grump?
The infamous Son X is on that show.
Yeah. That's Son X. The jury's still out on that Son X. That's for certain, Grumpy. But
I'm watching Dog Z today.
Oh God, how do you rope you into that?
He has the warden.
Oh well, he knows how to get.
Sure, anything you want. X, anything you want.
He knows how to get to the soft spot. But also, Grumpy, we've got IslesGirl3, who also does a great job, fantastic job of covering all things Islanders as well. So, well, first off, you can find IslesGirl3. You can find her on YouTube. You can find her on Twitter. You can find her on social media platforms, which will be linked in the description below. But Kim, let me know how frequently can we find you? If we're looking, I need some IslesGirl3 action. How frequently can I find you? What's the best way to find you? You know that much better than I'd be able to detail it.
Yeah, best way to, if you want to get contacts from me, anything, talk with me, is through my Twitter. Definitely through my Twitter, and I also have a Discord. We usually pop up the link on when I do podcasting or anything that I do live. If I do just Islanders play-by-play and reactions to games, you'll see those pop up live while I'm doing streams. That's my Twitter. You can find me right there, and I have a link to the YouTube, everything like that. It's right on the screen. But yeah, no, that's the best way to contact me. I try to get back to as many people as I possibly can. And yeah, we just have fun on my streams, and I have a vlog coming up of going to Montreal.
That's right. She got to meet a few. You got to meet a few, I think, of friends you had there, and I was following it on Twitter there in the NHL community. And I think they also do the same like media type of presentation as well. So she got to watch. Now, did we win? Did we beat Montreal? Remind me.
We did not.
Oh,
we lost in overtime.
Well,
and it was close because they were wondering if it was offsides. I didn't really get to see a clear video of it. They didn't show a video at the Bell Center of the goal, so I couldn't I'm trying to think of the right word. I couldn't make my own judgment of whether it was offsides or not. I asked on Twitter. Some people said yes, some people said no. I heard it was very close, like extremely close. I think it was about puck possession at that point of crossing the line. Did he have full puck possession crossing the line, kind of offsides rule? So I think that's how it went down, but very, very close. And that's when we were, though, in like just a little slump.
Yeah, I was about to say that's when we were like, what, 3 losses in a 4-game spread, and then we start winning some games against.
But Montreal was on some goddamn hot streak, because then the next day they kicked the Oilers' ass. So
this is one of these years to where playoff spots for the teams that are at the bottom, the bottom of the or the bottom of the playoff picture, like the Islanders and like so many more. I feel like it's going to come down to the last day or so.
It's gonna come down to us crossing our fingers, biting our lips, crossing our hearts that these teams that have 6 games on us don't get enough points to pass us, because the NHL said F you with our schedule.
Hold on, Kim. Are you saying that the Islanders are not winning the Stanley Cup this year? You said there's a possibility the Islanders won't win the Stanley Cup this year. Grumpy told me.
Listen, this
last show, Stanley Cup. What's that? I'm sorry.
Sometimes takes on Isles Facebook give a smile, but yeah, no, it's just, honestly, I would like to make playoffs. If I can have a choice, I would like to make the playoffs. I want to make it. I want to see how far they can go. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. Well, that was a question I was going to ask.
When do the playoffs start? What's the date the playoffs start? Does anyone know?
Here's comes some snarky comment inbound.
I'm just wondering when the playoffs start. That's all.
The playoffs start? Well, we got about what, 20 games to go?
April 17th.
April 17th?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be out by April 25th. Well, you figure one game in between. There you go.
You think what are you trying to say, Grumpy? You thinking we're gonna get swept if we make the
If we
playoffs?
make the playoffs, we're going to get swept.
Well, if we get Boston,
If we get Carolina, we're getting swept as well.
Hathaway and Orlov.
That and that's happened right since the last time we've been on the show, right? The Washington Capitals, who were a team that we've thought you look at the age component, they're an older team. Some of the star players on that team are an older team. Our forward group is an older group, young on defense, young in net. But so that's what we are, of course. But Washington Capitals are an older team. They started to sell away some picks and some assets. And you wonder who else is going to start to file suit today. Nino Niederreiter traded for a second-round pick. I mean, the NHL trade deadline is this upcoming Friday, less than a week away. And we've talked about it before. Unbelievably crucial time period for the Islanders, for the franchise, not only for the current, but the franchise for 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. We're in a spot to where we're technically in a playoff spot right now. Teams have games in hand. So we've got to do, if we want to make the postseason, we've got to do some rooting against some other teams. So you're going to be fans of every other team that's playing Pittsburgh, every team that's playing against the Sabres, every team that's playing against the Red Wings. So you're going to be watching a lot of hockey upcoming here in the NHL. That's for certain.
It's funny because you mentioned, that since the last time we talked on this podcast, that Washington made that trade, moved some veteran players. And let's just say that if you listen to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show, we talked about that extensively on Thursday night. That's the type of stuff you miss if you don't listen to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man on Thursdays at Sundays, just to let you know.
Hold on. Kim was going to give us an update, but I like the plug, Grumpy. But Kim was going to give us an update. So who scored there, Kim? Because I know that's what you're going to give us a score update.
What, you need your fantasy points or something?
Ottawa's up 1-0.
It was Brassard.
Oh.
Ex-Islander Derek Brassard. You
remember him?
Yeah, he sounds familiar, Derek Brassard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, who doesn't?
Tip and goal.
It's funny. I was doing some thinking, which I often do.
Dangerous.
TJ, maybe you should pay attention because it's not anything that you've ever done before. But I was doing some thinking.
Okay.
And I was just looking at how the playoffs are set up right now. And I'm like, gosh, if we don't make the playoffs this year, I don't know when the next time we're going to make the playoffs is. Because you look at teams like Buffalo and Detroit, who are certainly coming on strong here at the end of the year, very young teams who you would think are only going to get better, as well as Florida, honestly. It's a down year for Florida. They could still qualify. And where would that leave us?
Not in a good spot.
I was thinking about that. See, I hate to, just kind of mention that, but I'm thinking to next year. This year's already over. We don't no draft picks, no offseason moves.
Hope, guys. Just give up all hope. It's okay.
Absolutely, give it up. It's over.
I will first, before you start taking down that hole, I want to ask Kim, what was your thought on the Bo Horvat trade? Because I want to ask what your thoughts on Bo Horvat move, and what do you think the Islanders are going to do this upcoming trade deadline? What were your thoughts on that Bo Horvat trade?
So at first it was kind of like, are we going to sign him? That was the big thing. I saw Bo Villiers getting moved. So I was like, okay, cool. We moved Bo and Bo for Bo. The Atu Ratu was like a kind of a shocker in that deal. I thought he was an unmovable. So that one kind of shocked me a little bit. I feel like we could have maybe got another player. I feel like we could have grabbed a little, maybe something more, maybe give an extra pick, get another player in there. I could have seen that being a possibility. I'm surprised we couldn't wean maybe another play. Give me Brock Besser, baby. But why couldn't we glean something else a little bit? I would say I'm not gonna say I'm mad about it though, because I like Bo Horvat a lot. I like his energy on the ice. He's a face-off man, especially after just losing Pajot recently. Now we have no face-off people. He's someone that steps into that role for us, especially when we have crucial face-offs, like anything on a power play to having to get a crucial goal at the last moment, and you need to win the face-off in the zone. And he's been showing that he can produce. It's something we've been looking for. We're looking for a forward that can produce, and that was going to be that. He was a great match with Matthew Barzal, even though that was tarnished to but I liked it. I liked it, honestly.
Where when we look at the trade too, I think for the now it definitely helps. Bevillier's been on tell me this is not Anthony Beauvillier all over it. Anthony Beauvillier, right? You look at the points column. Wow, Bevillier's got 8 points in 9 games for the Vancouver Canucks, or it's something ridiculous like that.
But it's
You know,
like
he's
2 tipping goals or something.
is what
He only has like 2 or 3 tipping goals, I think.
I'm telling you, he plays with Elias Pettersson.
I was about to say it's Pettersson. It's not Bo. Like I love Bo. I love him with all my heart, but it's Pettersson. It's not Bo.
And he's always going to be putting up more points, you know. And number 2, this system that we played and we're trying to move towards, it's a very flawed system, at least offensively and defensively for Lane Lambert. We don't have the right personnel to fully commit to the style that he wants to play.
No.
Villiers plays more of the style of the current NHLer where it's, hey, you know, lax on the defensive side of the puck, play full-on offense, heavy forecheck. That's a style that he's going to play and excel in more than he would, you know, a Barry Trotz style. So it doesn't shock me at all that he's playing well. He's going to need to change the scenery too. He was never going to produce like he would for another team, like he would for us. He was just finished with the situation, finished with the Islanders, and that's the unfortunate part is we sold him at his lowest point. That's where you're like, crap.
I just look at what they've been giving. I'm just looking at the other deals that have been made. Seems like the Islanders played an awful heavy price for Bo Horvat compared to what everyone else is getting for players around the league.
A lot of those other players that have been traded so far are all rentals, though. You know, so that has. But
he was a rental too.
No, he was not.
Well,
they had the plan in place to sign him. He is now signed. He is no longer a rental. You have to look at that trade now as no longer a rental trade.
Right, but so if any of these other guys sign contracts in the interim, they wouldn't be rentals either.
There's no way they can afford them at all. Like the Rangers with Tarasenko, there's no way they afford Tarasenko after the season. That is full rental deal. And if this Kane situation ends up happening, I don't see how it ends up happening unless they don't sign younger kids, which is no way.
I'm just saying at the time the deal was made, it wasn't for a rental.
Well,
he had not signed.
Okay.
At the time. He had not
the time of the Tarasenko deal, it wasn't for a rental? I want to make sure I'm understanding.
Horvat. At the time of that trade, right, at the time that trade was made, it was also for a rental.
I don't think so. How fast he signed that contract, I don't think so.
Yeah, they brought him over. They signed him. Whatever. I was worried at first. Will the guy sign back? He says he wants to be with a winning organization. He says he wants this. He says he wants that. He signs pretty quick. It tells me that he had no issue at all with some of those question marks that he was posing when he was with Vancouver. You know, we gave him 8 years, $8.5 million, a year for a guy who has never scored before this year, 61 points in a season. So, you know, perhaps overpaid for a guy like that, or potentially could have overpaid for a guy like that. But just like we talk about Beauvillier, it will play his best hockey away from Long Island. I think, you know, Bo Horvat will probably play his best hockey with the situation he'll be in with Matt Barzal when healthy. So, you know, it's worth mentioning that too. I know he's, you know, only had a career high of 61 points, and this is, you know, a contract or a career season and a contract year. I think he'll play maybe not the same level year over year, but he's gonna be a good line mate with Matt Barzal. So it does provide some of the answer we were looking for in that area. I just more worried about the what it meant for the Islanders organization's philosophy. You know, I've thought that we needed to start restructuring the forward group. Defensively, we give up some bad chances, but we've got an elite goaltender that can kind of cover up some of those issues. But our forward group still is bottom third in the NHL in goal scoring. It's just not good enough.
Not good enough.
And this say that every year. This is trying to take a step in that direction. But the unfortunate part is, right, Bo Horvat's a big plus over Anthony Beauvillier on the ice. But do I expect Brock Nelson's been fantastic again this year. Seems like year after year after year, he continues to play better and better. I'm not just based off like the law of averages and like the likelihood of him having another career season next year. I don't know. I'm not expecting it. So I won't be disappointed if his play slips. I don't have that expectation that he needs to be next season putting up 80 points with, 45 goals or anything like that. He's had a great year. What do I expect out of the guys who are older? Reasonably, I expect them to slowly start dropping off. You take a big step forward with Bo, but some of your older forwards maybe take a little bit of a step back.
Well, maybe some of our young forwards in the minors oh, hold on. I forgot we don't have any of those.
Well, we do. We have guys who could fill the bottom 6 roles, which always makes it crazy why we have to sign these guys back to long-term deals. Like Durando. I've liked what I've seen out of Durando. As I say, he's a guy who looks like he could be he could find himself a spot in the NHL. I like what I saw in guys like Ottruder. I like what I see in some of those young forwards. It's just the point.
Can you name another young forward that you are happy with what you see from them?
What I've seen in the NHL?
Because you said, I like all these other young forwards.
I'd like to see Ruslan Ishikov get a shot. He's got like eight points in a 4-game stretch down there in Bridgeport. The guy's a playmaker. Yeah.
If they're not playing him now with all their injuries to the forward group, what chance do you think? That's right. They don't think much of him.
The same thing like with Robin Salo. The guy got a few opportunities earlier this year, had some issues, and then, we're rolling anybody and everybody above him, and he's kind of the afterthought at this point.
There you go.
That's just how it is. But we talk about the trade. I think it addressed an immediate need. I do not like the mindset we have of continuing to trade away first round pick after first round pick after first round pick.
Yeah.
It's eventually we're going to be sitting here on a show like this saying, "Wow, hey, maybe we're shooting for. We're going to be back in that same mindset of we need to finish the worst in the NHL to get the top."
I feel like we're going to be doing with the Caps. So we're going to be just kind of like buying picks, like just giving away assets to gain picks, or even in Minnesota's situation, they're like retaining like literally buying the picks, retaining cap space like they did for Orlov just to get a pick out of it from Boston, things like that.
Well, they got a first, a second, and a third for Orlov and Hathaway. That's a pretty good haul for those two guys.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, and I mean, like, Orlov is a guy who they've had to ask him to do more this season because of the John Carlson injury at right defenseman spot. But he's a guy who's a top four defenseman. And Hathaway is a guy who is, he's a fourth line forward. So they were able to get, a late first round pick in this year's draft, a second or a third round pick next year, and a second round pick 2 years from now. And they took on the cap hit of Craig Smith. So, that you're seeing what you can get, right? Top 4 defenseman, kind of like what Scott Mayfield is. Fourth liner, kind of like what Parise is. A first, a second, and a third.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good haul for those two guys.
We've talked, Kim, and Grump and I have talked there leading up to this year's trade deadline. We need to move people that are on expiring deals. The Varlamovs, the Mayfields, the Parises. I want to see those players moved at this year's NHL trade deadline because you're going to get a king's ransom for that and allows you to help restock the cupboards a bit. Going into this year's trade deadline, what's your mindset? I think, unfortunately, Lou is going to add. Now, are you in a spot where you want to see us add or maybe shed some of those individuals that are on expiring deals?
So, fan me. There's two different me's, I say. There's like reality, kind of realistic thinking about future, and then there's fan me. Fan me says no. Like I love all the players. I have I get emotionally attached to these players. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I do. I get emotionally attached to every one of these players. I've met all of these players, because in the end they're people, and I absolutely love Mayfield. I love Varlamov, and it kind of hurts me too thinking of giving away Varlamov. Yes, I know like we can get so much for him. It's nice having that great goalie tandem that like I with either in net I feel like secure. Well, and that you don't get that often when you have goalie tandems. A lot of times you're looking for what we need that other goaltender. Our first can't play every night. We need someone that we won't feel will take us back in the net. And I feel like Varlamov isn't that kind of goaltender. I feel like it's still secure when he's in net. Honestly, a lot of the times Varlamov loses is because the team in front of him just falls apart for some reason. With Mayfield, I could see it happening. I could see it happening with Mayfield that we could possibly but the return is like what I think the biggest thing is like on top of picks, what else are we looking to gain? I think is like the biggest question mark of what they're gonna aim for.
I would be fine with either picks or young prospects who've had pedigree, that had potential, that maybe need a change of scenery, that can make a somewhat of an impact maybe in the near future. Like I'm fine, but I don't believe, and that's where it comes down to, fan me. Well, fan me. I I've lost hope that the general manager is going to make the correct move. I have. I'm worried about it. I have sleepless nights.
I understand that. I understand that.
About what Lou Lamoriello's going to do.
I understand it completely.
But I'm worried we're going to add at the deadline, and that's what Grumpy.
We're not adding at the deadline.
I'll let Grumpy tell what he thinks going to happen first.
Nothing is going to happen. He's made his move. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like
he's not going to move any.
Done.
He's not going to move any UFAs. Just not going to. It is what it is. He has one big move that he makes. He pisses away our first round draft pick, and that's it. That's it. Every year he does the same thing. Every single year. What do I want? I want draft picks. Draft picks, and more draft picks, because we have no one in the minors who I feel is capable of coming up and producing any goals for this team in the immediate future. None. Just none. If you want to have a team that's viable in the next 2-3 years, you have to reload. Right now, we have no one in the minors who provides that. Just no one. And every year, the same thing. Trades for Palmieri, trades for Pajot, trades for Bo Horvat. Okay, great.
Trades for Andy Green. It's year after year that we're just giving away draft capital. And you just kind of wonder, like, when does that stop?
The draft is the lifeblood of any team and any organization. Yeah. You want to see the teams that are good, and pick any sport you want. The draft is how you're able to get cheap. You're able to get inexpensive talent, potential to perform at a higher level, so that you can augment the squad with free agency or whatever. When you keep on paying guys who are in their 30s, giving them big, long contract extensions, your team's never going to be good enough. Look at Buffalo. Look at Detroit. Yes, they were on some hard times for a while. Now you're seeing all that young talent coming up and bubbling up at the same time. Buffalo in particular, right? For me, Buffalo is a veteran defenseman and a number one goalie away from being a really tough out in the playoffs, because they can score. Still a little shaky defensively, need a veteran. Craig Anderson, he's not the answer in goal. The young kid, he's not there yet. But that's what I'm saying. I'd love to move Varlamov and Mayfield to them for a couple of 1s and a 2. I would do that in a second. And Buffalo's a team that you consider that right now.
Hey, maybe even a prospect, a selection they've had that maybe they've fallen out of favor with, that maybe we find value in. I was more supportive of making additions under Barry Trotz as the head coach. I felt the team, I feel like the defensive personnel is better now than the last year under Trotz, but our structure is inferior to what it was on that side. We're playing more of a modern NHL team and a modern NHL system now, but we're at a spot to where our forward group, I think, is headed in the right direction, but we still do mind-numbing things like putting Josh Bailey on the first line. It makes little sense to me.
It's because you have no one else in the organization to play.
Don't forget
that's what happened.
On the penalty kill? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's on power play and penalty kill. He does it all, bro.
But think about it. When you have no one in your minor league organization who can come up and fill any roles, you're stuck re-signing Zach Parise at 38.
What's wrong with that? Why are you so against Zach Parise? I find he's still fabulous. We're paying him league minimum, and he's producing beautifully.
He's not making league minimum. He's making 1.5 per now.
He's making league minimum. Oh, he does make league minimum with the added bonus or whatever, but he does make league minimum.
He's making 1.5 this year. He made $750 the year before, which was league minimum. He doubled that this year. But here's the thing. If you notice, he's totally fallen off the planet with his game.
Well, that's why I don't
second
have
half
an
of the
issue.
season.
That's why I don't have an issue with trading a guy like that. But because he has value, right? On a good team, Zach Parise has value. On a good team, they don't say, Zach Parise, we need you to score goals. We need you to assist. On a good team, they say, Zach Parise, we need you to be out there for 11 to 12 minutes a night. We don't need you to play 15, 16 minutes like you're playing with the Islanders. We need you to play less time. We need you to be explosive. We need you to be control and shut down when you're on the ice. We're not worried about you doing a whole bunch of other things, but we have to ask him to do so much more because we're relying upon all four lines producing in order to try to be, bottom third in the NHL in goals per game. But
Zach
other teams
Parise,
don't have to do that because they're structured better offensively.
Zach Parise has 24 points in 62 games.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Tell me you can't get that from would you rather get that from a 38-year-old or a 23-year-old?
I don't care where here's the thing. He's not signing back here. He's gone this off. I would be shocked if he
really?
signed back.
Really? I think if he wants to come back and play, Lamoriello say, "You want another raise? I'll give it to you." I just think his play has really fallen off.
It has.
After the 40-game mark. He's just not the same guy. Where he was always noticeable. And everyone knows I was against signing him initially, but he certainly, for the money he was getting paid, I was happy with his production and his effort level. He's always noticeable. He's not been noticeable recently, not in the last 20 some odd games.
He still outperforms his contract on a night in, night out basis.
Not in the last 20 games he hasn't.
I don't know what games then you're watching, Grumpy.
The ones where he's supposedly on the ice.
What games are you watching, Grumpy?
I know I watch it because it says he plays every single game, but you know what? I don't notice him on the ice.
But
game-winning goal against the Penguins. I just want to put that out there.
That was a mic. She just dropped
100%
that.
effort towards the net every single night. He gives me twice the effort of a Simon Holmstrom. So, yes, I would rather the 100% of that 38-year-old than little Simon Holmstrom, who's not going to be anything progressive. So, yes, I find he has 100% value in this organization. I think his contract is fantastic for the level of effort and the love and determination he gives on the ice. So, I will 100% disagree.
I think they both suck at this stage.
Hold on.
I said,
back that up. Okay, Simon Holmstrom, that's fine. Nobody's disagreeing with you now. Well, you think Zach Parise sucks at this
in the last 20 some odd games, he's been virtually invisible.
So who's more invisible?
Invisible scoring game-winning goals. That's interesting.
He scored one game-winning goal. Before that, he hadn't scored in 14 games.
Hold on. I got a question. So we're going to play. I'm going to have you rank who's most invisible. We've got Zach Parise, we've got Josh Bailey, and we've got Casper Simon Holmstrom. I want you to rank from most invisible to least invisible.
Well, Josh Bailey's just on the invisible list. He's not even playing, bro. He's hurt. I don't know how you can really make that fair over the last games, but I mean, both Simon Holmstrom surprised by getting that goal against the Jets. I'm not even gonna lie. Did not expect that coming from him. Beautiful pass though. Can we talk about Matt Martin actually stepping up a bit? I've been really happy with him stepping up at least in these past at least 10 games. But beautiful pass from him, Bo, 1, 2, 3. He gets the setup and luckily, nice snipe on net. But with effort level on the ice, sometimes that's what happens with Josh Bailey too. He'll get a goal because he was set up beautifully by Barzal, or he was, he gets these setups kind of thing. But with Parise, he does it himself. His game-winning goal was him pushing 100% of his effort and all of his determination towards that net for that bounce to go in. Well, Simon Holmstrom, he got set up beautifully. So if I'm going to rank him, I'm putting Parise, Holmstrom.
And Bailey at the bottom.
Well, he's hurt. I'm not even counting him right now.
When healthy.
Bailey.
I'm not counting Barzal. I'm not counting Pajot. I'm not counting Bailey right now. They're all hurt. We have to think about the squad is as now.
Okay.
That's not going to stop me from making my.
I was going to say, I know it's not going to stop
rankings,
including Bailey.
Josh Bailey. All right, he missed a couple of games. I didn't even know that he was injured. You want to know why? Because you never hear his name mentioned when he's on the ice. And that's my problem with Zach Parise. Always, earlier in the year and last year, Parise's on the ice, you know it. He has that drive. He's got that determination. I'm just saying that in the last 20 some odd games, it seems like he's hit a wall, that one goal notwithstanding. And I think it was only because, it was his however many games he's played. And, they were pumping it up on the broadcast.
It was his
And
1200th career NHL game.
And I tell you what, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I was going to say, okay, yeah, this is you. This is your night, Zach Parise. This is your however many game you've ever played. And this is the first team you ever scored against. And you're going to come out here and you're going to score this winning goal. And that's what wound up happening. Good for Zach Parise. All I'm saying is he's not the same player that he was last year or earlier this year. I just think that maybe he's injured a little bit, or maybe the age just kind of caught up with him a little bit. That's what, you get to be 38, 39 years old. You're not the same as when you're 27, 28. You're just not. And maybe that's happened with him.
We're going to have to shake hands here because we're going to be stuck in a loop.
Hold on. We're talking about the script. Now, do the people who write the NFL script, are they writing the NHL script like that? Because I need to know who's winning the Stanley Cup.
It's so funny because when I'm listening to him talking all night and he almost scored a couple of goals, I'm like, oh boy, yes, sirree, this is the script for tonight. And I was happy that he scored the goal. So, I mean,
I would assume so. It was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but here's the thing. Pittsburgh's only 3 points. How many points behind are they now? I mean, I thought Pittsburgh was just about dead and buried. But I mean,
no, because they have 5 games on hand on us or something stupid like that.
They're only 2 points. They're 2 points down with 4 games in hand.
Yes, I was going to answer that.
So think about if we didn't win those games.
And honestly, we didn't deserve to win those games. Sorokin won us those 2 games. Sorokin won us those 2 games.
I will disagree with you again. I mean, did Sorokin have a hell of a game? Hell to the yes. But when it came to those Pittsburgh games, I was actually wanting to talk about this with you guys because you know what? I was kind of on the bandwagon with you. Let's sell at the deadline. I'm kind of giving up hope with the team a little bit. And I'm an optimist. You guys know. You guys love to bring me on because Grumpy and I are total opposites. So I was kind of feeling like a little downtrodden about this team where I was like, you know what? Maybe it's the time we start looking towards the other way. But I'm going to, you know what? Ross Johnston coming on the team. Listen, I know how you feel about it. Trust me, I know. But I won't deny that I'm happy he's shown grit. He's shown something that the Islanders have been lacking that we've always had, at least over the past decade. And that's toughness, physicality, and grit. And watching that game against the 2 games against Pittsburgh, I feel like I saw a spark in this team I haven't seen in so long. I haven't wanted to win a regular season game in so long. And they showed that, no matter the score, they came out with determination and they ended up winning those games in regulation, which was more especially important than just winning an OT or anything like that. We needed those games to end in regulation on our side. And it was just a new spark in this team that I felt like had been missing for a while. And it just, I don't know, it gave me more hope in the squad where I feel like, let's go for playoffs this year and see what happens. Durando's given me hope. He looked fantastic with Fashing. They were line mates together on Bridgeport, and they have that chemistry. That's why they look so good out there together and can find each other. And I love you. You know my love for Cizikas. Cizikas said how much Durando looks fantastic. Really? And he's seen so much from him. Fight me, Grumpy. And I do have a new hope. I feel like just try this season. Go for it. Let's see if we can at least, because we weren't supposed to win shit in 2020, in 2021.
We didn't.
We weren't supposed to win one round, Grumpy. Not one round. And we showed that can possibly be thrown off the table. You know what? So let's go for it. You know what? I don't care.
A new hope.
So this show could be the
yes.
Jedi podcast.
We're past the Clone Wars. We got a new hope.
but yeah, the team has so many ups and downs this year where it's like it's better for mental. I feel like my mental health. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen because I look at all these teams that have games in hand. And I'm like, the worst case scenario is I think that, we're either going to do nothing at the deadline or we're going to add. And, Washington, we talk about Washington selling. Washington still might make the postseason. It's still...
Maybe. But you know what?
Does John Carlson come back? Does he play? I don't know.
At least their ownership and their general manager is smart enough to know that, you know what, even if we do squeak in the playoffs, we're not going anywhere.
Well, they won their Stanley Cup. Why not sell at this point? They only have 7 players left of their Stanley Cup winning team. I would like at that point, I'm like, we got our Stanley Cup. Okay, let's reset. Like, I feel like that's a no-brainer.
But it's a no-brainer if your team is an older team that really has no shot at winning a Stanley Cup. You're in the same boat. I think we're in the same boat as Pittsburgh and Washington, where, we're an older team that just isn't good enough anymore. Just not. And I'm going to absolutely disagree with you on those 2 Pittsburgh games. If it wasn't from shoddy goaltending from DeSmith and Casey DeSmith, and then horrible Tristan Jarry giving up those 2 incredibly weak goals within a minute and a half of one another, we lose that game. Those are games that we did not deserve to win. Sorokin was phenomenal in both of those games. Phenomenal.
We've talked about it though. Goaltending.
I didn't know if Kim. I don't know if Kim saw those games.
Well, no,
it seems like she was watching different games.
No, she wasn't.
I just take the optimistic approach from them.
But we did. But the big thing is winning those games in regulation and going down the stretch. Buffalo, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Washington. Those are games where you can't split with those. You can't, get a loser point. We almost have to win in regulation because of the limited amount of games that we have left.
Yeah.
What the thing we've talked about is goaltending in the NHL this year, and even last year was better than this year. This year, the goaltending in NHL is miserable. It's awful.
And you know what? I don't necessarily say it's awful. Our goaltender is so good that when you watch other teams, if you're just used to watching Detroit or Buffalo and like, oh, he's fantastic, until you see a real goalie like Tampa with Vasilevsky all these years, or, even going way back, Martin Brodeur with the Devils or Shesterkin with the Rangers the last couple of years. When you don't see that every night and you see somebody come in who's just, wow, he was great last night, but you're used to seeing your guy. Now we're used to seeing our guy and everybody else pretty much pales in comparison. That's the way I look at it. Just like when Brady was quarterbacking, right?
Oh,
I always like, but it's the same thing. When you have somebody, or Patrick Mahomes, when you have a Patrick Mahomes who's so much better than everybody else, and if that's a guy that you watch every week, then you see, you're seeing whoever he's going against who looks good on a normal Sunday, but not when he's going against Patrick Mahomes. You kind of get spoiled, is what I'm saying. We're spoiled watching how good Ilya Sorokin is. He was tremendous again last night against the Kings. That game did not deserve to be 3-2. He was sensational the first 2 periods, just spectacular. We got a lucky goal at the end to make it close. But again, that's a game we really had to win. I know the Kings are a playoff team, but they're not great defensively. They're on the second half of a back-to-back on the East Coast, no less. And they come out and dominate us for the first, I want to say, 2.5 periods. I mean, that's frustrating as a fan to watch that. That's an opportunity we had to steal another 2 points against a tired team, and we didn't do it. And then you're seeing now these other teams that have these games in hand. They've been playing into our hands the last couple of weeks by losing a lot, but now they're starting to win games again, and now they're going to be playing one another. So somebody's going to be gaining points. I just don't know if we have enough left with 20 games and how close these other teams are.
I think adding and sitting on your hands are the 2 worst things we can do at this year's trade deadline. If we make it in, because seriously, Varlamov, I think he's a good backup. He's one of the he's one of the best backups here. But in the same token,
hi Varley, you're a backup. We don't need you anymore.
Is that going to be, when's that song going to be released, Grumpy?
Realistically, how many games in the last 20 you think he's going to play?
4
games. Okay, 4 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is because the way I look at it, Varlamov, I think, would be a 2nd round pick at least, maybe something in addition to that, a second and maybe a pick later on. But that's a guy is 4 or 5 games of Varlamov, because if we make the postseason, Sorokin's in that every single night.
Absolutely.
I'm not rolling the dice with Varlamov unless Sorokin gets injured.
If he gets hurt, it doesn't matter anyway.
Sure, I agree with that. But it's like, is 4 or 5 games of Varlamov more valuable than a second round pick. And for me, I'd take the second round pick all day.
Yes.
Because I just don't see him signing back. And unless he says, I'm taking a real hometown discount and I'll take a deal for $2 million, or $3 million. I don't think he'll do that. Because he's a guy who's good enough to be an everyday guy in the NHL still. He's still of NHL quality or NHL starter quality. And I'm like, does he say, because I'm great pals with Sorokin, I don't want to leave. I want to be here with him. Or does he say, I want to continue to play? So
You can come back in the off season for $1 million a year.
$1 million. Come on, Grumpy, stop.
Well, I don't care. He's going to be 36 years old. He's a freaking backup. He's going to play 25 games a year. You don't overpay those guys. You want to know how you get in salary cap trouble is by continually playing guys in their 30s. Oh, you keep on overpaying for them. He's a backup goalie. Maybe 1.5 a year. That's it.
Stop.
You have a guy who's a stud. You have a guy who's an absolute stud in net who's going to play 62 games a year. I mean, he's phenomenal. Guess what? Varley, you were making 5. Sorokin's making 4. Sorokin's up for a new deal. Okay. I'm going to make Varley, you want to be here 1.5. All the rest goes to Sorokin. That's the way you do it. Because he's going to have to be resigned.
He's going to get an $9 million a year contract at least.
Well, you better give it to him. He's your best player.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kim. I feel like you want to weigh in. Grumpy.
No, I have the popcorn here. I'm having fun with this. I've been having fun with this exchange.
I think Varley, he'll get paid. I think he's gonna probably want to go to free agency. He's gonna want to get paid.
To stay with the Islanders. He come out and said it. I want to stay here. Why would he not? There's no accountability. If you win or lose, doesn't really matter. Everyone from the
Sorokin too.
Yeah.
Everybody from the cul-de-sac crew stays. Anyone who wants to stay stays. We never let anybody go. We'll re-sign you to deals. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. No accountability, no responsibility. That's what it's like in the cul-de-sac crew.
What happens with Lou this offseason? I'm curious to see what will happen because that's another big question mark of how this offseason will go.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard that there's a 2-year extension in place.
Okay, that's the rumor. Nobody ever knows anything on that, but
I'm just saying that's what we've heard is that there's a 2-year extension in place.
Not in place, offered, but who knows? Maybe Lou steps away.
This was from the same person who told us what the contract was going to be for Horvat before it happened.
Oh, shit.
No.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, not the exact contract details, but yes, that he had already been signed or was going to be signed. So again, reliable source. But again, I'm not going to – Grumpy's over here acting like this has come from the edict of God.
I'm just saying what we heard was. All I'm saying is what we heard was. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Absolutely.
I have zero connections. Zero.
So if we're looking
Lemuel is the Tom Brady of GMs.
He was. That's right. If Tom Brady was playing at 80 years old, he'd probably still look better than Lou Lamoriello right now.
So projected cap space, if nothing gets done here, we do nothing else going into next year, is about $5.3 million a projected cap. Now it does. Now Phil very astutely when I brought this up was like, well, this guy's counting against it. They're going to have available cap. Long story short is what the reason I'm bringing this up. Worst case scenario is this offseason, if we don't move Varlamov and we don't move Mayfield, we just sign them both back and say, I believe in the core of this team for another offseason. That would just drive me nuts.
I find it hard to believe that Scott Mayfield would sign back.
He's in order, I think, for a 4.5, maybe a $4 to $5 million a year contract.
Okay, it won't be here then. He's a bottom pairing defenseman. That's why that's a guy you move also on a playoff team. I think Scott Mayfield's a good defenseman. As you know, I'm a big fan of his. He's not been great this year. I almost think it's not because of him. It's because of who his partner is. I think it's hurt him this year. But on a good team who are tremendous offensive juggernaut but not great defensively, he's a great addition. A great addition. And I just don't – on us, he's a bottom pairing defenseman. And I just don't think that I'm certain we would not re-sign him. Certainly not for what he deserves or what he want.
You know what's sad? It's like you're like, oh, because of Mayfield's partner. A big Lane Lambert thing that I have is that I can't even tell you who Mayfield's partner is. There is no partners. There's no lines. Every night I'm like, what's it going to be tonight? I'm very curious who's going to be with whom. There's no
Mostly it's been
stability in the
Aho,
lineup,
though, right?
and that's something that irks me because you have no stability in the lineup. You change them even during the damn game. I'm like, wait, what's he doing out there? Like, he changes them during the game. I'm just, it also breaks up chemistry in these lines as well, and it's like he's trying so hard to recreate the formula every single time, and it's like, it's I don't know if there's like that's another thing that kind of irks me with like Lane Lambert is that he just doesn't keep some things together and try them out for a couple of games. He gives it like one period and then he's done.
But Aho's been his most consistent partner this year.
Aho, okay. Yeah.
Well,
I'm very hot and cold with Aho.
Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't. He's been matched with Romanoff before. I mean, like you're right. They do hit the blender. I mean, he mashes that blender.
He gave up that 2-on-1 with the Kings last night too. But that was partially to the referee. But like, I don't know what the hell he was doing. Aho, what are you doing?
It's our team is. I think they're so focused on them. When we drive offensive play, we're without our. Again, I'm sorry, we didn't even mention this in the conversation. We're without the best offensive playmaker we have on this team with Matt Barzal. I mean, the guy.
Tell me our power play was not looking really, really good with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal on it.
Yeah, they're a good fit. They complement each other because we've talked about it before that a lot of people like to stand around and watch when Matt Barzal plays. And Matt Barzal, if you stand around and watch, he does not alter his game to make other people necessarily.
He shouldn't have to.
I'm not saying that.
Feet. You get Bo Horvat coming in. He's a guy who moves his feet, gets in position. Casey Zizekas, another guy, when he was playing on that first line, he skated, got the puck, moved to the net, looking for a return pass. He was so much better playing with. There are just some guys who are able to play with Matt Barzal, some guys who aren't. Anders Lee. So that's why. I mean, that's why for me, Bo Horvat's a good fit. I would have loved Johnny Gaudreau on this team. I feel so much better if we had Johnny Gaudreau from the offseason.
Kind of disagree with Lee. A little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because if you put like with like Horvat there with Barzal and Lee, the thing is nice is because you're right. Like with Lee, he does like go kind of flat-footed, but the thing that he does is he puts pressure on that goaltender at the net. He screens. That's his job right there in front. And then you have Barzal and Horvat who are able to go around while screening the goaltender, gives so much more positioning and so much more opportunity towards the net. And we know Lee, if something drops in front of the net, he's right on it. He's always, right there to get the puck, and he does beautiful tip-ins. So I feel like he would be a nice asset too.
I wish now Horvat does a good job of it. This is like one of those things that I was going to say before Grumpy interrupted me, but Matt Barzal doesn't do things like, and I'm going to use this as an example. Don't blow your casket, listeners at home. But John Tavares would be a guy who would often throw the puck that was off target of the net, but would throw the puck to an area to allow a guy like Anders Lee to try to deflect the puck and put it on net. Matt Barzal is a guy where he says, well, I'm just going to go ahead and try to continue to skate to open up additional ice to allow somebody a good opportunity to shoot. They're not going to say, I'm not going to take what's easy. I'm going to try to do everything I can, because he's so fantastic. He tries to do a little too much, and that's what gets him in trouble. But that's kind of the nature of the beast with a guy of that type of caliber or that type of playing style. So
the problem with Tavares is we got too cutesy with that goddamn play, because every goal we could only score was damn tip-ins because no one aimed at the net. I think that's literally a reason we have trouble aiming at the net now, is because everyone was like, oh, aim towards the left because someone's going to tip it in. We got way too cutesy with that.
Yeah, and those are the old days when Anders Lee hit like 40 some odd goals or whatever that was.
Yeah, because we all looked for tip-ins. That was all we did. Literally was the joker in the league. The only way the Islanders score is via tip-ins. No one can actually just shoot like just straight slap shot or a wrist shot, anything. And that's where I was like, that was making me nuts. I'm like, just shoot at the net.
Like, shoot!
Yeah, I'm like a new hockey fan over here. Just yell, and we still yell at them to this day, yelling, "Shoot!"
Can't score if you don't shoot.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Today also, you got some weird trades. Before we get to the ad and start jumping into comments, Vitaly Kravtsov for the Rangers was traded to the Vancouver Canucks for William Lockwood and a 7th round pick. So, and Kravtsov was, I think, what was he, like the 4th overall pick a few years ago?
Frees up some money for the Rangers, right?
Not really. Kravtsov wasn't making big money. He was on an entry-level deal.
What's the other guy making?
Entry-level deal.
Yeah, I was like, he's not.
So then has nothing to do with money. It has to do with we're no longer we don't want anything to do with you. Remember, because Kravtsov left, it was like a year or 2 years ago. He left during the season, or he didn't make the team out of camp. They wanted to send him to AHL, and he said, "No, I'm just going to play in the K." And so, like, I feel like the relationship they've had has not been good since that time period. So it's just like a change of hey, we've given up on the guy that we drafted. Yeah, we've given up on the guy that we drafted in the top 5 selection a few years ago. Just an odd one to see. Guys like that, I don't mind the Islanders if he was cheap, rolling the dice if we think a guy like that has talent. You're probably going to miss on them because, right, they probably don't have the talent that they originally projected to have, but maybe they just need to change the scenery. But that was a trade that occurred today. Nino Niederreiter, we mentioned earlier. Winnipeg Jets acquired Nino Niederreiter from the Nashville Predators for a 2nd round pick in next year's draft.
Can I make a prediction on tomorrow's game against Winnipeg?
Yes.
We're going to get freaking pulverized.
Why you say that?
Because they came out and got rolled last night. Just rolled.
Okay.
After they thought they should have beat the Islanders, and Rick Bowness come out and just tore them a new one in public today. So they're going to come out tomorrow ready to play.
You're going to have to
yes, they were against the Avalanche. That's right.
They got obliterated.
They had 4 goals and like 5 shots.
Yeah. I mean, they got obliterated. So they're going to come out ready to play tomorrow.
The first period or so is going to be tough.
Yeah, the first period was bad. I disagree.
There it is.
Kim, I expect you to disagree.
I know. That's why I'm here.
Kim, of the last 20 games, how many do you think the Islanders are going to win? 18? 19?
I don't know, man. I don't. Again, you guys know. You're like, oh, what's the score? I never say the score because I will jinx it. Even like I picked up Kreider on fantasy as a joke to my boyfriend, and since I picked up Kreider, they've lost every single game. Like it's like things like that.
He pick up some more players from other teams.
He texted me today. He's like, "You still have Kreider on fantasy, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're dropping him right now."
Oh, that's right. Now, isn't your boyfriend a Rangers fan?
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, the Kravtsov trade. He's excited about Kane, but I'm like, where's your defense though? I'm glad you're pumping up your offense, but you're only setting yourself up to be the new Toronto Maple Leafs trying to outscore their opponents because you can't keep anything out of the back of your net.
You've got to say, though, as a Ranger fan, I mean, like, what they've done, and people here about to be the slew of comments. TJ's a closet Ranger fan. TJ likes the Rangers. But I'm like, you talk about a team that has a spectacular goalie, questionable at best on defense, has a great forward group, and they add guys like – what was that a questionable forward group? Defense. Yeah, I think questionable at best. Yeah, but the forward group you add at this year's trade deadline, you add Tarasenko and Patrick Kane for a push, and man, I think maybe they should have looked defense. But I mean, you've added two extremely valuable offensive pieces.
Tarasenko is iffy for. I'm kind of glad we didn't trade for Tarasenko.
Not now at 31 years old. No. 2 years ago, yeah. 2 years ago, I was all for trading for him, but not now.
But I don't know how much he's really bringing to the squad, especially they went on a win. They had a winning streak. They traded for him. They won like one game or something, and then they're on this losing streak now. Where they're looking for that, bringing on the points kind of thing, especially with the defensive lack, and I don't see it coming through. With Kaner, we'll see, how he fits into the squad. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be, I think, they're definitely beefing up their offense. This is going to be great acquisitions for them, but I don't know how that gets them in the long run.
I don't think they're good enough defensively.
I don't either. Maybe they were the ones who should have looked for a Chikrin, but 2 firsts is not going to happen.
They're asking for an arm and a leg for him. That's
why he's still there.
See, that's just poor asset management also.
Yes.
He's on such a manageable deal at a young age. You should be able to get almost anything you want. I don't know what their asking price is ridiculous. At some point in time, you got to lower your price a little bit or try to maybe just find some other way, get a third team involved where you can get that extra asset, and they've just not been able to do it.
Drew sent us this meme. I think you'd find this enjoyable. He says, having Bailey on the top line now with Barzal, so this is a while ago, in Bavaria or in Bo Horvat, is like having a new car and letting your dog run around inside with shit on his ass. So I figured, Grumpy, maybe you would find enjoyment out of that.
Well, Josh Bailey.
I don't mean to take it down that road. I just meant as a little laugh.
I mean, but it's kind of unfair to Josh Bailey now because here's the thing. He's not the one who says he should play on the first line. He's the coach, because you got to spread the suck around, as I say. And, if you got Horvat and Barzal on line, all right, let's put the worst player that's left on our forward group. Let's put him on the first line. Josh Bailey is going to skate up and down the wing. He's going to pass the puck. But, I mean, his game has fallen off the planet too, just like Zach Parise's has.
That hockey IQ.
Well, he is a smart. Like I said, that's why I'd love to trade him to Arizona or someplace where they have a lot of young kids. He can teach them algebra. He could teach them algebra and stuff like that, and English lit. That's where he could be an advantage to an organization.
Andrew let him.
Gosh, I do want to read what Washington came out and said. And if Lou Lamoriello were to do something similar with guys on expiring deals, I don't think you would see a single fan complain about this. No. But the Washington Capitals said, we'd like to thank Dimitri and Garnett for their contributions to our organization. Dimitri has been with our organization for almost 14 years and was a key contributor in helping us win the Stanley Cup in 2018. Garnett has been an important part of our team and has been a role model off the ice for his contributions to our community. We wish both players all the best with Boston. This trade allows us to acquire draft capital, infuse youth, and to restock our system. While this season has proven challenging with injuries to our significant players, we are in a position to use some of our current assets to retool our club and build a competitive team moving forward. I don't think a single Islander fan would be upset, because right now we've won a few games, but I'm like, how is Matt Barzal being out going to affect us over the last 20 games? I think he's so valuable, and we've won a few games, but I'm like, the power play was clicking. Everything was going finally with Matt Barzal and Bo Horvat, and Barzal gets banged up and gets hurt. I mean, now the rumor is he's on a kind of week-by-week basis. Some people in the organization expect he may be back.
I have a source that he's out for the season.
That's what I think too.
I trusted then he's out for the season. That was it. It was like, oh, maybe there's some belief that he'll be back. Okay, so he's not coming back. Okay, gotcha. He's out. This makes it even more undeniable that we must sell at this year's trade deadline. Matt Barzal out. That's a big piece. It's out.
They're hoping that if somehow we squeak into the playoff, he can strap it up. I think he's got a partial. I think he's got a partial tear in the ligament of the knee. That's what I think. Dr. Grumpy, you heard it here first.
Dr. Grumpy.
And they're hoping that he doesn't need surgery, that maybe it'll just heal up.
Nurse to Dr. Grumpy.
Absolutely. You can do the arthroscopic, dig in there. Well, actually, I do that, but you could hand me, all the proper tools.
Oh, good gracious.
I mean, that's what we mentioned the other day, TJ, right? We're going to figure probably a partial tear to a ligament. It was a knee-on-knee injury, and he tried to and you could just tell he wasn't coming back for a while. And he tried to skate out for a shift in Boston, and it was like, no, it's not happening. So
let's do this. Let's get to the ad read. Let you guys get revamped here for the second half of the show. We're gonna get through some comments too. Not sure if we're gonna make it through every single one of them, but we're gonna try our damnedest. First,
I guess I'll be reading the comments today then.
Grumpy, could you keep up with us?
Well, here's the thing. They seem to go much faster when I'm commenting.
Gotta grab his reading glasses. Hold on.
I just make sure that he makes the screen bigger. That's all I need.
I love you, Grumpy.
Grumpy's got to hit the expand on his page in order to make sure he could see it all. That's
absolutely.
But today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially. No, I've got the wrong ad read. Sorry. They've got oh God almighty, I screwed the pooch. Let's read here first from Raycon. This time of year, everybody's talking about making big changes, which is all well and good, but most of the time pretty unrealistic. I've actually found that sometimes the smallest changes to your routine can make sometimes the biggest impact. In the same way, you don't have to break the bank to make a big deal purchase. Even the smallest things can have, could be a part of a big change. If it's something that you use every day, kind of like my Raycon headphones, Grumpy. Raycon is a premium audio brand at a perfect price point, so you can build great habits without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking for a good pair of everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that will last all night at your next party, Raycon's got you covered. So if you're looking for a pair of headphones to get you zoned when you go to the gym or listen to a few podcasts, Raycon's a great brand for that. And yes, Raycon started half the price of other premium audio brands. So you don't even have to choose between products. You can get one of each, or you can get a pair and a spare and still pay less than what you would, for some of the other guys. Even if you're going to love the Raycons as much as I do, Raycon still wants you to feel great about your purchase. They have an offer where you can buy now, pay later options, and every purchase has an easy and free return guarantee. So the Raycon headphones have the customizable gel tips like all of them have these days, so it fits the contours of your ears. They've got the tap on the side, the tap functionality to go ahead and stop if somebody's coming up and bothering you at the gym. So you've got the tap functionality on the side. They are water and sweat resistant. That's a big one too. But hey, if you're ready to buy something small with a big impact, go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. Again, buyraycon.com/THPN. Grumpy, you like your Raycon headphones, don't you?
Well, I think you stole them. I don't use headphones because I can't. But I mean, hey, don't use some fly-by-night site like AirPods and crap like that. Use Raycons.
Hold on.
I mean, it's more affordable. You get, buy a pair, get another one half off. How can you beat that?
No. It's not buy a pair, get another.
It's like a new pair of ears almost.
No, it's okay. It's not buy a pair, get another pair half off, Grumpy. But they're saying because the price
buy a spare, whatever it is.
The
get
price
a pair and get a spare.
Nice
something
15%
like that.
there.
I mean, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
15% off. That's right. Oh God Almighty, it's gonna.
So I was right then, right?
Yeah, you get 15%
buy a pair,
off.
you get 150% off. I mean, hey, how can you go wrong?
15% off.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, you kept saying 50. I was like, no, I don't think
Raycon's gonna come after him.
Oh man.
If I used earphones, that'd be the ones that I'd use. TJ, of course, he gets all the freebies that we get. They all go to TJ. Me, not so much. He's got the big name on the placard. Me, little small print. New items come in, TJ gets them. Grumpy old man, not so much.
I tell you, they've got this pulled up. I might have to jump to this DraftKings later here, Grumpy. So I'm gonna have you start reading comments because
I could read the DraftKings
ad. They sent me a summertime ad, and I'm like, well, hold on a second, we're in February, so I'm like, that's not right. So give me a sec. I got to get that pulled correct. Sorry there.
Well, I could read a summertime ad.
Well, hold on, Grumpy. If then it's not the ad they want us to read. It was sent to us by accident.
My beach umbrella out, throw some sand on the ground, or be ready to go.
Okay, just start getting some comments, and I'm going to try to find the right one.
John Smith says, "Gotta love Kim." Rick Roma says, "Kim's favorite food is Poutin."
That's
poutine.
Okay,
poutine, Canadian treasure, and you'll see it. You'll see me try it for the first time on my vlog coming up.
Oh, see, there you go. And Rick Roma, Rick Roma, he needs those Glen Ross leads. Very, very important.
Now,
Nick D says, Kim the nurse.
Is Kim familiar with that movie, Grump, before you just glaze over that?
That movie?
Glen Ross.
No.
Yeah, the Glengarry leads. You got to look. You got to watch that movie. You'll see Rick Roma's in it. You got to watch it. Al Pacino plays him in the movie. Nick D says, Kim the nurse. Kim is a nurse. Yes.
Yes.
Frank K says a wild card race is coming down to the last day of the season. I disagree. It'll be over before that. Ponyboy Curtis says, nice boys. IslesGirl3. Bring back on Nicole Sherman next. Ponyboy's got.
I'm already being replaced.
Ponyboy's got. He gets a little warm on the insides when he hears Nicole Sherman's name.
Ooh, okay.
Grump, you're just glazing over things like that. The time I don't read the comments, Grump
What's
just
to
goes,
glaze over? If it's
Hold on.
important, I'll let you
Is
talk.
it
You don't
exposed
think-
TJ
hold on.
has tiny crush?
You don't you don't think that this year's playoff spots wild card race is going to come down to the last game of the season?
Correct. I do not. That's correct.
What's your
Not for us,
thoughts
it
on
won't. Not for the Islanders, it won't.
I know he meant for the Islanders, but
Yeah.
God,
It
why
comes
not?
down to the last game every year. But I'm just talking. I mean, this is an Islander podcast, right?
Yeah. it
Okay,
is.
there you go. Not for us, it won't. We'll either be in or out before the last game.
Okay, gotcha.
Brainer 954 says, TJ, it's 8:10, almost on time, but no cigar. Let's talk about that. Let's expound on TJ being late and breaking his New Year's resolution.
I was
We'll
almost
let you slide.
Yeah.
Drew.
I'm gonna lie, I was getting ready and I was like, oh, I gotta get downstairs. It's almost 8 o'clock. And Mike goes, oh, don't worry, you got an extra 10.
Oh. See, TJ called me. He says, are you ready? I'm like, yeah. And I'm sitting here waiting and waiting and waiting. The time was after 8 o'clock when he sent the invitation. Just saying. Drew's music review says, hello, everyone. Kim, I don't know if you remember someone. Well, you probably don't want to know him. If you remember someone who spammed, promoted a YouTube channel on one of your streams. Yep, that was me, LOL. Although, welcome to the...
Don't remember, but thanks for coming to my streams. I'm glad you joined.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ponyboy Curtis says, fire AJ, hire Kim. Fire Shannon, hire Shay. Shay's got connections. I will say that.
Kim and Shay both have connections, Grump. That we know.
I do not have connections.
Kim says she does not have connections.
Okay. I trust her then.
Nick D says, TJ and Grumpy, how are you guys doing tonight? I'm doing fine. TJ, well, look at him. Great loss last night. Shake my head. The Kings on a second night of a back-to-back, and they still outworked us. True. And that was disappointing. We talked about it earlier. That's disappointing. Nick D says, Andy Francis, where are you? Probably out buying a Noah Dobson jersey right now. It says $10 million man on it.
There it is.
Rick Roma says, Kim is the top earner on the Cadillac board.
Oh,
Sadly, Shelly the Machine Levine is the lowest. See, that's how you have to know Glengarry Glen Ross. Have to know it. You got to watch it for next time on the show. Great movie, written by David Mamet. Really good.
I don't know the Cadillac board, but I know Deadpool.
Deadpool is not. It's a different form of entertainment than Glengarry Glen Ross. I'm just going to say that. Goon Goon says, hey, gents, I was thinking about Goon Goon today. When I went to take a shower, I peed before I got in the shower, and I thought of Goon Goon.
No,
a comment. Well, that was from a comment on Thursday when he asked, am I a high-class individual? Everyone knows that I am. Do I, urinate before or after I go in the shower, or just piss down the drain, which is, I guess, what Goon Goon does. And I said, no, I don't do that. And today, when I went on my routine, I thought of Goon Goon. Peeing made me think of Goon Goon. So you're right up there in my book, Goon Goon. Ponyboy Curtis says, boys, who is the ringleader of the cul-de-sac crew and who's the vice president? All three of your answers and why. And do you always say cul-de-sac crew because you're cul-de-sacking hairlines?
Oh, I'll let you answer those, Grumpy, first.
Okay. For me, the leader of the cul-de-sac crew is probably, and I'm just going by the dads from the dad trip, Anders Lee, number one. Number two is Captain Useless, Josh Bailey. He's number two. And that's your president and your vice president. So that's what I am. Kim, who is the leader? Who is the president and the vice president of the cul-de-sac crew?
I don't have a cul-de-sac crew.
The Islanders, I always say the Islanders are the cul-de-sac crew because, they just love one another. They never want to leave. We play good for 2 weeks before the, trade deadline. Then maybe a week after, then we go in the tank like last year. So, and we're seeing it this year, right? All of a sudden, 2 weeks before the trade deadline, we better get out there, start before we don't want any of our guys getting moved, any of our cul-de-sac buddies. So you're seeing them play a little bit better. So of the the veteran core, who's like the leader and who's like second in command?
Oh, they're gonna roast me. I'd say a leader is Josh Bailey. Leader is
Oh,
Josh Bailey, definitely.
Josh Bailey, all
No
right.
one's ever touching Josh.
Okay.
And it has to be veteran. So thinking. I'm thinking of a vice president. I don't know.
What about
I
Captain
don't like
Average?
dissing on these players, bro, because it's
No, you're not dissing anyone. They're the leaders of the cul-de-sac crew. That's a highly exalted position, in my opinion.
Oh, good gracious. I'll let if you want to think about it for a second. If you want to think about if you want to think about it for a second, I have found the ad read that we need to find. It's like yeah, so this other right. DraftKings also sponsors today's podcast. NBA fans, we know how many amazing NBA fans are out here to listen to this stream. Big NBA fan population listens to this stream, but it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hand. Oh crap, I zoomed in too much. To the palm of your hand with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and a keyword and existing customers can get a no sweat game or same game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, or go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and opt in and place a same game parlay on any NBA game. And if it doesn't hit, you'll get a free bet back. So you could say, hey, I'm expecting that, I'm expecting the Nuggets. And Nuggets going to win, and Hornets are going to lose.
Can you just tell when he goes off script because he just boop, 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 boop. Come
Here's the thing, Grump. On the item, it says talk about that. As you can tell, I don't watch a lot of NBA games. It may be
just name any two teams in the league.
Fuck.
If someone clip Grumpy there, you can make a kick-ass song edit right there. That's like the bass right there.
But you can download the app now and sign up with promo code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, with promo code THPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See the show notes and description for additional details. Well,
wonderful. Now, Gungun actually had a comment that I just ignored when I was, talking about my showering technique. Gungun says, "Hey, gents and IslesGirl3, is it okay if I have fun tonight with this podcast, or should I be a
dry and serious bastard? Grumpy. I'll let you take it.
What? Hey, Gungun, just be yourself, man. That's all you can be.
That's how you wanted to do. Oh man.
D-Cut
says
of Isles Misery Rated R, that phenomenal Facebook site, who are big fans of the Grumpy Old Man, TJ not so much, but fans of the Islanders Never Say Die podcast, says, fire TJ, hire D-Cut. That's a common refrain.
I've heard that one before. I can't remember where from, but I feel like I've heard that one.
Everyone says it.
And what's up, Angelo? Good evening, too. Matthew S. says, good evening, gentlemen. And Kim, how are you there, Matthew? Frank K. says, Rangers defense isn't good. Shesterkin is struggling big time. Once Kane is added, good luck managing all of those egos.
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine managing the egos. I just don't think their D is good enough. That's my issue with the Rangers.
No cohesion on a team. It's a team sport. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kim's hatred of the Rangers.
It's a little bit of hatred of the Rangers, but I'm just saying you got too many, I'll do it all personalities on a team. T cap, won this cup with a capital T, understanding that premise. Who knows? Maybe that's a crash and burn.
Maybe.
Please.
Alex H says, Kim, we miss you and hope to see you back at a game soon.
What's up, Alex? I know Alex. He's the best. What's up, man? I hope everything's good with you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys again, too. I haven't seen you guys at warm-ups. Come to warm-ups.
The warm-ups. There it is. And what's up, Shay? How are you? Frank K said, hire my hair. He says, hire the locks, Grumpy. And Matthew S. also says, fire TJ. Hire Matthew. Hire him. So we're getting a lot of those.
Everyone's looking to be on the show. at TJ's expense.
I'm getting fired quite often in a lot of these comments. So yeah, I guess I'm familiar with it. Pony Boy Curtis says, IslesGirl3. Hold on a second. Would you go on a date with Pellick or Pulak? Which one and why? I'm not sure. You don't have to answer
Aren't
that
they both married?
Yes. I'm
not a home wrecker, Pony Boy.
Pony Boy's a loose cannon. He has a loose cannon feel to him tonight.
Every time I see that, it's like, what did Pony Boy say? They're like, Pony Boy Curtis says, I wanted to hear when I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house. I only have two things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home.
Oh, there you go.
Drew L says, TJ, is the overhead camera broken? Yeah, the camera's just done. It's shot. They don't make any more of them. I was looking up last night, so I'm going to have to get something different.
We're going to the funeral tomorrow. It's okay.
Decut says, TJ is on the verge of getting booted from Isles Misery Rated R. Pack your shit, you bald-headed jerk.
See ya, Decut. And Dan Kim, that space lighting is cool.
Thank you.
I think Kim could do anything today, and she's going to get a lot of positive responses. You know, usually our fan base is so angry, and they usually take it out on TJ mostly.
What?
That when they see a guest come on, they love all the guests. They just
hold on. The guests are all great, Grumpy, and Kim's great. That's why they love them.
I never said the guests were not great. I'm just saying they're always over the top and effusive with their praise for the guests, and not so much for you, TJ. That's all I'm saying.
We're getting a lot of these weird.
Tough love.
Well, we know the answer to this, Goon. So we'll pop it up on screen nonetheless. A rarity, a female guest on Islanders Never Say Die podcast. A rarity for certain. Isles Girl Rated R. Who's the sexiest Islander player in your estimation? It's Casey Cizikas. And also, did you see the shirtless pic of Grump as a young man? The sexiest circa 1983.
Was he doing the gyrations with Butch Waring? Was he there next to him?
They were just still
showing off them gyrations. How you feel about that, TJ? Your co-host going with Butch Waring doing some little kicks.
Well, Grumpy was doing something kind of similar to that with some dance moves that I'll pull up for you. That shade clip. They're gold. They're gold here. I'll put up Frank K. You can read that one, Grumpy, as I'm pulling this forward.
Our lack of depth showed last night. Can't lose to a team who lost in overtime the night before in Jersey. Our conditioning coach needs to be fired. We look shot, and the Kings look fresh. The Kings did look good. I was surprised coming off, and that was a tough loss to the Devils the night before. They gave up a really late goal in regulation and then overtime. And then they came out and they were on fire.
So these you're talking about doing the gyrations over here. We'll let you watch Grumpy. Grumpy
got to Rihanna.
Now
to my girl Rihanna.
Yes, this was on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. Grumpy
the
Dan.
Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
That's right. The Super Bowl show.
Oh, hold on. Oh, she could make her neck go like this.
Grumpy, look at that little turkey gobble down there.
What's that move called? The waddle?
It's a Jake Little Arnold Jr.
Who needs Tom Holland? We have.
I don't know what she's doing there, but this is a little provocative.
I want to see him dance to Umbrella.
Look at this.
She's going to the top of the world.
I still get a kick out of that one. Thank you, Shay, for sending that in. Oh, that's
I'm just glad she didn't fall. That was scary.
High up there over there.
Platform was shaking, bro.
She was also tied in on the back also.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Yeah, she absolutely. And
okay, thank God. Because I thought she was.
Yeah, because I'm like, ooh, man, she's really far up there. But then I saw some other clip, and she was absolutely tied.
Also, I saw the Super Bowl in Canada, so we didn't get any of the commercials. You'd see the start of the Super Bowl commercials, and they click off.
Oh.
You don't get to see the Super Bowl commercials in Canada. Fun fact.
They weren't paying that money up there in Canada for those commercials.
It's different advertising, so I was like, that sucked. So I didn't get to see any of the cool commercials.
You didn't. None of them were cool, so you didn't miss.
If she would have fallen off that platform, though, everyone would have remembered that.
But you don't want to be remembered that way.
I was about to say, people remember the things where something awful happens.
The Super Bowl committee got sued. No, let's have everyone be safe and good.
When I went to the Super Bowl in Houston, however long ago, that was the one where Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson had the wardrobe malfunction. And, I was in the crowd, so I didn't even know what happened. I thought people were talking about the guy who came out, Mark Roberts, at the second half kickoff, ripped off a referee's jersey, started running around naked on the field, and got whacked out by some player. I don't even know which team knocked him out. It was either I think maybe it was the Panthers, or maybe it was the Panthers or the Patriots, one of the two. And I thought that's what they were talking about. We didn't even know till the next day, because we drove back to Dallas from Houston that night. And in the airport, we were like, oh, geez, wardrobe malfunction. We didn't know anything about that. And it was crazy. So even though we were there live, missed it totally.
Potomac Curtis says, who wins in an arm wrestling match? Ross the Boss Johnson or Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Ross the Boss Johnson would beat Dwayne the Rock Johnson in a bare knuckle fist fight or in an arm wrestle match.
Wow. So you got Ross beating up Dwayne.
Okay. The Rock's muscles are for show, where Ross's are to go.
I mean, yeah, he was on WWE. So
Dwayne the Rock Johnson's a professional wrestler, Grumpy. WWE. What are you trying to say?
Yeah, baby.
There.
There he is, Ross the Boss.
I just love him sitting on Malkin.
That's right. I like how he's got his knee across Malkin's neck.
Got across the back.
Malkin's smart, though. He knows who he can mix it up with and who he can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he can mix it up with Pullock, who's got his arms, no arms, because he's holding on to the player defenseless, and let's punch him in the back of the head.
Well, in Malkin's defense, Pullock did come out from the behind on him, but he looked around. He's like, okay, I can go after him.
Yeah, he was like, oh, Ross got pulled over there by the refs?
Absolutely, yeah. And he can throw a punch. If you look at Malkin,
doesn't matter. You don't throw it on someone who's trying to stand on ground.
No, all I'm saying is
Grumpy's going to be in a supermarket. He's going to see a woman standing on line with a shopping cart.
But
Grumpy's a dirty fighter, is what he.
What I'm saying is Malkin has good form with his punches. I'm like, yeah, he could throw a punch, but he wants nothing of Ross Johnston.
No, he does not. He only started throwing when they pulled Johnston away.
Absolutely. I said he's not stupid. He's not dumb.
He's not stupid enough to mix it up with him.
No.
If we can,
and I'll tell you what, Ross Johnson
he
still gets the short end of the stick from the referees, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph C says, IslesGirl3 Kim has nearly 5 times the amount of subs as you guys. TJ Grumpy slacking.
That's true. I find that distressing.
Kim produces a good show. What can I say?
She's better looking than we are, and I think that helps her subs.
She produces good quality content, and Grumpy and I were just
okay. No. Pretty. You go to YouTube on anything. You could have some pretty girl who's a dunce. I'm not saying you are, Kim. And they're just like, yeah, look at all these subscribers, because people just like to look at the pretty girls.
Are you trying to say we don't have sex appeal, Grumpy?
You don't.
Grumpy's got all the sex appeal.
Am I bringing down the subs because we don't have sex appeal? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Grumpy?
I'm saying your follically challengedness is hurting the podcast.
That's what's hurting. That's what's hurting our
subscribers. The new haircut. The new haircut, DJ.
Oh God Almighty. And Put Up Curtis says, who wins? What the fuck? In an Islanders debate, Phil's baloney, Phil's facts. Phil's baloney, Freddie flip flop fiction, or who's Phil's baloney?
It's Phil. It's all Phil. Phil's baloney, Freddie flip flop fiction, or IslesGirl3. That's why you let me read the comments, okay?
Okay, Grumpy, keep reading there. I think nobody
I'm
ever
going to tell you what, Phil would win the debate because he's relentless and won't shut up. And he bombard Kim with false facts and sell them as true until she just, whatever, Phil. Whatever you say.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Phil's the ultimate troll. I'm telling you right now. He's a troll.
Oh, good gracious. Goon says, IslesGirl3, when and how did you become an Islander fan? Do you ever regret the decision?
I became an Islanders fan, born into it. 3rd generation. Grandparents, season ticket holders, 1973. Parents, my brother and I. Do I ever regret the decision? No. Never.
There it is. Maybe one day we're going to finally see the team lift the cup.
Even if I'm 93, we still have won a cup. I still love this team.
If I'm 93 and the team hasn't won a cup, I'll be like, what a waste of time.
No.
I'll be dead by then.
Not a waste of time. Even just previously, even that Beauvillier goal against Tampa, I wouldn't trade that for the world, even though it ended up how it did.
I will be disappointed.
It's because you're not old enough to have known a winner.
If the team never wins a cup,
Because you know what? When I think of all-time Islander highlights, that Bavilier goal's not even anywhere on my list. Not
you're
even
also
anywhere.
older now. When they were
Well,
winning,
I'm
cups,
just
you were
saying,
younger.
when you lived through if the Islanders had
I
won,
can understand exactly what he's saying.
now let's say in 10 years from now, the Islanders win 3 Stanley Cups in a row or 4 Stanley Cups in a row, that Bavilier goal, no one's even going to even talk about it.
I would actually. It's
Really?
you know what? It's impressionable on my young life. That's the only bout of success I've had in my personal life at 23. So to have that first moment of like, oh my gosh, like where I've had such extreme happiness at a game, I think that will forever be stuck to me.
Okay.
Just like it's just, but you're absolutely right. I think I like that point of view where you're like, you know what? I haven't experienced 4 cups in a row. I haven't experienced Stanley Cup and that atmosphere. So I think you're absolutely right where it doesn't hit your list.
Now there's other times like the Turgeon goal to beat
In '93.
the Capitals.
Yeah,
That
the Easter
big.
epic, and like
Yeah,
the
and then
Easter
he
epic
got
and everything, and like it's
he got attacked by Hunter, the David Volek
yeah,
goal.
mhm.
But still, when I look at all time, it's for me, it's
Stanley Nystrom. He scores.
it's always that goal. That Nystrom goal is always it, always. And that game, always that game, that first cup win game.
That's the peak. Well, Grumpy, you hit your peak, and it's all been
Yeah,
downhill.
like I
since.
said, that's probably the highlight of my Islander life. When I'm dead, that'll be the highlight.
That's gonna be engraved on his tombstone. He saw 4
Well, no, it's
cups.
not going to be engraved on my tombstone. But
Grumpy, don't worry. We'll engrave it on your tombstone. No worries.
Read this to Grumpy. This is great.
there you go.
JK said, to steal a quote from one of your listeners, we are all in the win now train. We are all in on the win now train. Whether we bought the ticket or not, no true words have been said. Kudos to the listeners who created that.
I agree.
I forget who said that.
I agree, and kudos to that listener. He's absolutely right.
Grumpy, do we get a 80s Coke story tonight or what?
No.
What? I think if you keep asking Ponyboy Curtis every show, maybe then he'll finally tell us one.
You'll get what? 60 watt bulb. Drew
says here, TJ, do not forget to shout out those Isles Misery rated R people. Shay says, Kim, get used to it. TJ loves cutting people off.
Wait, Shay, didn't I take that photo for you?
So you know Shay then.
I think, yeah. I stood next to her when she met Salo. She had that Salo head.
There it is.
Oh my God, hi. I was like, wait, I think I took that photo. I was like,
so you and Shay run in the same circles?
I met her briefly here and there, but it's nice. She's so nice. Hi.
Yeah, I know. But let me tell you something. She gets anything she wants at those games. Anything.
She gets smiles out of the people, and we're over here like, yeah, I understand. Brainer 954 says they need a miracle to be Boston in the playoffs or Carolina.
Here's what I'm afraid.
Here's
the way I look at it. If we get into the playoffs, I feel it's going to be 1994 all over again when the Rangers just beat the brakes off of us in that 3-game sweep. That's what I feel that it's going to be like if we make the playoffs. Boston is a wagon. Absolutely. And here's the thing. We can't beat Carolina. Period. Never going to beat Carolina. Never. Never freaking ever are we beating Carolina.
I disagree.
Oh.
I'm going to be that person to Grumpy today. I'm going to piss him off.
No, I want Kim on the show.
If there's a team that I feel like we could beat, I feel like if like we had odds, if we have to go like Boston or Carolina, I would choose Carolina every day, like obviously. But I feel like we could do it against it. For some reason recently, we've just had a good, I don't know, vibe against them, just like late goals or just able to get past them. I don't know. I feel like we have a good vibe against Carolina. I feel like we could possibly do it there.
I think we've beaten them once in the last 3 years.
No, we've been a problem with them once in the last 2 years. But I agree. I would much rather face Carolina than Boston. The reason being, Carolina's goaltending is more questionable than Boston. Olmark is the real deal. Yeah. And with the only thing, when we win games, what happens? Grumpy. When we win games, what happens?
We're the New York Saints.
Defense, goaltenders have to make abysmal mistakes in net. I will put the chance of a goalie making a mistake higher for the Carolina Hurricanes, albeit low. A low chance of that happening, but a higher possibility of that happening, for Carolina's goaltender Anderson than Olmark.
We're not beating either one of those teams. Those
Sure,
are
I don't
both.
think so either.
Those are both sweeps. Those are both sweeps.
James F says, "Hey guys, Rangers keep losing, and all that talent they have.
It's losing.
They're scuffling now.
They're losing.
Which, if you want to scuffle, they have a lock of a playoff spot. So, if you're a Rangers fan, I wouldn't be too concerned. They'll pick it up as it gets closer to the end."
Mikey D said, "Orloff and Hathaway to Boston, Meyer probably to Carolina or the Devils, and Kane is all but done to the Rangers."
I'll wait till we find out what the Kane thing is. Everyone's saying Kane's done, Kane's done, Kane's done. Well, I haven't seen it announced yet. So
there have been quite
pretty much. He's sitting out of games. So, and the only two teams he said he would. This is where Kane's kind of like getting on my nerves. He's like, the only two teams I want are Toronto or the Rangers. And Toronto, there's no way they're going for him, in my opinion. So
not after picking up Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah, exactly. So what's left? And the fact that he's sitting out of games and they've been talking about like trade purposes, it's pretty much.
But let's say Carolina gets Timo Meyer. Think about how much better that makes them.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, because they're a good defensive team. You want to sell Freddie Anderson short.
No, Freddie Anderson's not Linus Ullmark.
Okay, he's not Linus Ullmark, but their team is really freaking good. What do they won? What are they?
Boston's really freaking good.
I'm not saying Boston's not really good. I'm just saying for us to play one of those two teams, we don't match up with either one of those teams. But I think stylistically, the Bruins are a better matchup for us. Stylistically.
Linus Ullmark scores goalie goal. Just happened.
Grumpy.
He's scoring goals too. He's probably got more goals than Simon Holmstrom does.
Put Curtis says, "Okay, seriously, boys / Kim, Ledecky / Malkin has a gun to your head, and you have to pick the Islanders' next general manager. You only have two options: Fredo Lamoriello, for those unaffiliated, that's Chris Lamoriello, Lou's son, or the Professor Josh Bailey. Who do you pick and why?"
Ponyboy Curse, that's a stupid question.
Who would you pick?
I look at
one
in the eyes and say, "Pull the trigger."
There you go. Kim's willing to take a bullet than she is to hire either one of those guys as GM.
I'd rather. Oh, Jesus Christ!
All right, if you ask me which one, I would say Fredo Lamoriello.
I'd say Bailey.
No, it wouldn't be Bailey. He has absolutely no experience at the job, but neither does Fredo.
Maybe that's something we need.
Fredo's been riding daddy's coattails since he's been 3.
I'd say Bailey, because your reaction to Bailey still being a part of this organization would put a smile on my face every
Honestly,
podcast.
I'm joining TJ now.
Yes, it's Bailey, baby. It's Bailey, and it's all done. Great trade by Washington, says Matthew S. Yeah, I agree.
It was. They're a team. Their general manager and their ownership realized, you know what, this run is over. Let's reload a little bit. Maybe come back next year and see what we can do with, Ovechkin and, whoever, Carlson. But we're not winning a Stanley Cup this year.
Frank Hay says, "I'm not rooting for the Rangers when they play those teams. F them." He's anti-Rangers all the way. Doesn't matter if they're playing a team on the cusp of a playoff spot competing for the Islanders. Frank will not be pulling for the Rangers. James F. said, "I'm getting my colonoscopy next Thursday. Same day the Islanders are play the Penguins. I think I might go to that game."
Well, the way the Islanders played against the Penguins the last 2 times, it's like getting a colonoscopy. So if it wasn't for Sorokin, those were 2 easy losses. Tristan Jarry was so bad in that second game. Those 2 goals.
That's why I love when they play Tristan Jarry against us.
Yeah, because he just sucks.
Exposed Tristan Jarry. And I had Penguins fans coming up to me. "No, he's so much better now." And they did that. And they just like the Josh and your famous Josh Bailey goal.
There it is. The Josh Bailey goal. We got here a comment from Mikey D saying Rangers are 0-3-1 in their last 4 games.
I picked up right.
And we're on a 7-game winning streak before that. I'd love to have the luxury to say that about the Islanders. But they were on a big winning streak before starting to lose a few in a row.
Oh, I thought he said going like 0-3-1.
I know, that's what I was like.
Oh, maybe he did mean to say. Maybe I just totally.
No, I think he was saying what you said, TJ.
I don't know.
I hope.
He'd love to be able to say, okay, we went 0-3-1, but we had won 7 straight games previously.
I want
the Bridgeport reverse.
Yes, I wanted to bring this up again. I'm trying. I feel like I'm updating on a daily basis to see if this is ever going to be added to the store so it can be bought online for those.
It's probably available in Connecticut, which kind of sucks.
Only at the team store, you think?
I think that if you go to Bridgeport's Twitter, they were like selling them via links there.
Sell them on the back of cars.
Hey, that jersey right there is what I was looking for in reverse retro, so I will get that one.
I will say I like that one more than the ones that the guys were wearing.
I hate the ones they're wearing now.
Yep.
And honestly, when you see the full fit and they have like pure blue pants on, it looks really nice. I don't know if you saw those Bridgeport pictures today.
Oh shit! No, I didn't.
I got you. Hold on.
Okay.
I have warm-up pictures for you. I have a Bridgeport on
okay,
alerts, so I can get
little
pictures. Let me get it. Oh, here it is. Let me see if I can get it here. This is a nice.
They do look better than the stuff that we've been clowning around in this year.
Not bad.
I was about to say they look good. I like that. I like.
There you go.
I like the jersey with the pants like that. Hey, I would have been fine if that was the reverse retro for us.
That looks a lot better in white.
Yes,
that was the thing. That was the problem we had originally. I said I'm not buying that retro because
would have been nice. Would have been nice if this like the little you see like they have the little blue line around with the shoulder pads. Make that dark blue and put like
make it line up. That bothers the shit out of me.
Oh, you're talking about the
line. It doesn't line up, and I hate it.
Yeah, on the back. Oh, I don't know if this one does or not. I know that the Islanders does not.
It's the same design, just in white.
Oh,
and I love the shoulder. It has the shoulder trim too, which is really nice.
I wish the shoulder trim would have been dark blue with lighthouse logos on each shoulder.
The lighthouse logos, yes. I just wish it was. I like that it's more the royal blue rather than that horrible like midnight blackish blue.
Yes. And Drew L says here you're NHL general managers out here being productive and trading away assets. Meanwhile, Lou is too busy driving under the influence, driving with dementia. Oh goodness gracious. And Brett W says the fisherman days are back again. No, we're nowhere close to that bad. Rob G says, hello, TJ and Grumpy and your guest and Kim. I was so pissed off that they lost last night. They need to bounce back tomorrow or the party's over for them.
Rob G.
I'm just worried about matinee too.
Rob in Vancouver. And like I said, Vancouver, after listening to Bonus today, I'm like, we're losing tomorrow. You could just, you get a feeling when a team gets, just destroyed the night before, they're going to come out with something to play for.
Yeah, they could be 5-1 by the Avalanche yesterday.
And it wasn't even that close. It was terrible. They were terrible. But Rob G, one of the most positive Islander fans that there are. And if you don't believe me, he's going to sick that dog on you.
Matthew has said, should have made it a top 16 protected pick. Yeah.
Well, that's not a lottery pick. So
the worst case scenario is the Islanders lose their pick this year. They don't make the playoffs, and they add at the deadline. That's like the trifecta of I'm gonna have a heart attack and die.
We're not adding at the deadline.
I got you, teacher.
I'm telling you, Grumpy. Just wait. Why would they have Vancouver withhold 25% of the cap hit on Bo Horvat if they weren't planning on adding? It makes no sense to me.
Who cares? I told you why.
On
Wednesday's podcast.
Point of Beer Curtis says, IslesGirl3, what's your spirit animal and why? We already know TJ is a stool pigeon and Grumpy is an angry beaver. So
my spirit animal. I don't know. I always put it as like maybe like a wolf or an owl. I'm a night person. I'll be up till like 4 a.m. You'll always see me around that time. I love, going around doing as many things as possible. And you poke me and I can get ferocious on you. So you saw that tonight when Grumpy was poking my pre-C button.
Oh man, Shay saying about Pavillia, of course he's with Peterson. Of freaking course, his production will be up.
Say
And,
Peterson.
He needed to change the scenery though. He needed to change the scenery. He absolutely did.
James asked the guys on NHL channel. You should have heard all the Ranger fans calling in complaining about on Kane not getting completed yet. Give me a break. How much more talent do the Rangers need? Give me a break.
Okay. Here's the thing. I think Patrick Kane is a difference maker offensively, though. I don't think Tarasenko is, but I think Patrick Kane absolutely is. Patrick he's a different level player. He just is. But I'd like I said, it's their defense. And Shesterkin has not been great. Certainly not like he was last year. And I think their defense, which is not great, is going to be their downfall. I think they'll struggle to beat the Devils. I really do.
It's funny.
The Devils, let me tell you something. Talking about a team I was wrong on is the Devils. I didn't think they were ready. TJ said they were. And if you're an analytics geek, they're a darling for you. And just with the eyeball tests, they're really good. They're another team, in my opinion, goaltender's just not good enough. And that'll be their downfall. At the end of the day, that'll be their downfall.
It's funny you mentioned, do you remember when players have children, their play drops usually that
Very
next
true.
year. Shesterkin did have a kid this last offseason,
That's
but he
right.
wasn't going to replicate what he did last year.
He was opposite with Bailey.
That's because his wife wanted him out of the house.
Oh, good gracious. Frank K said the Horvat move was to shut up the fan base.
I believe a lot of that is true. He
Sure
had
did.
to make, or he felt he had to make a move where
I think we pressured him into the move, but I'm not mad about pressuring him into the move.
I love the player. My gosh. And I just hate the people say, well, he wouldn't have come here as an unrestricted free agent. Why not? If he signed a contract like within 2 days after he was here, maybe he would have come here. I just don't like, I was just so diametrically opposed to giving up assets this year when you could just tell the team isn't good enough. Yes, I wanted Bo Horvat. I wanted him in the offseason, but I did not want to give away that first-round draft pick or Ratu if we could avoid it. The first-round draft pick in particular, Pavillier needed a change. So I had no problem moving him. This was the last year that I had where, okay, I'm putting my eggs in Pavillier basket. After this year, I was like, no, he just needed to be moved. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't care what numbers he puts up in Vancouver. He was never going to do that here. But I did want Horvat, but man, I did not want to give up our only young forward who looks like he could be a player on a top 6 line and top 2 lines and that draft pick. In a deep draft. That hurt.
It makes you happy, Grumpy. Don't lie.
Makes me angry.
Oh, good gracious. Got a comment here from Shay. He's just on a little bit of a hot streak, and he'll go cold soon.
He's as angry at Anthony Pavillier.
Rob G says, "Oh shit, that's IslesGirl on a commercial." Hello.
Now, see, you read that really emphatically. There were no exclamation points on that.
Okay, we said, "Oh shit."
You can feel the energy, girl.
Yes, that's right, Grumpy. I can feel the energy.
Okay.
Joseph C. saying the problem is the Rangers have cap issues and have to protect certain assets from getting hurt. They've been playing 11 forwards and 7 defensemen the last 3 games. Okay. Well,
Can I just tell you one thing? Vasilevsky's been phenomenal tonight against Detroit. Phenomenal.
How would you know?
Good.
How would I know?
Yeah.
He's on right over there. They're showing highlights right now. He's been tremendous. But you know what? He's a big game goalie.
1-0.
2-0.
Oh, Kucherov got a point. I have fantasy points. Okay.
James F. said, my Penguins coworkers all want Hextall fired.
Well, I don't know what they're expecting.
Can you tell your Pens co-workers to shove that horn somewhere where the sun don't shine? That is the most annoying horn.
I just don't know what you're expecting Hextall to do. They're another team that passed their peak. have been trading away first-round draft picks for years. They put Kasperi Kapanen on waivers. He got picked up by the Blues today.
Yeah,
And
he just went to the next locker room.
well, it just but seriously, it makes me wonder, what's the locker room like? Because Kapanen has talent, and you just put him on waivers. Maybe they're looking to make another deal and they wanted to free up money. I don't know, but I don't know what Hextall can do. I think they're limited. 2-2 Canadians and Senators.
Canadians.
Oh, gosh. So Shay sent us this. She doesn't like how I pronounce Ruslan's last name. They don't like how I pronounce him Ishakov, Ruslan Ishakov. But she keeps telling me I have to pronounce it correct. And this is Nicole. Nicole's gonna give me a lesson, Grumpy, of how to pronounce Ruslan.
Ishakov. Ishakov.
Okay, I've been saying it right the entire time. Ishakov, not Isak. Ishakov, Grumpy. That's the name. So
Isakov is what she said. It's Isakov.
I just Americanized everything. I'm like Ishakov.
Mikey D is saying, yep, came to the Rangers pretty much done deal. They have everything. But needed to do it today to clear cap space. Trade will be done by Wednesday, most likely, according to insiders.
They're trying to get other teams to hold remaining cap or something. They're trying to pull.
Hey, New York Islanders, let's go. I don't care if we're working with the Rangers. Give us draft picks. We'll take some of your draft picks, and they'll be easy and fun to root against you in the playoffs.
Honestly,
Even more
it'd
fun.
be fun to pick up like a Rangers draft pick and get a good pick out of it, and then like hold that over their heads for like years.
Hey, absolutely. And David D says here, hello guys, grumpy old man. I like you because you tell it. You tell it like it really is. Just do not tell Lou that you be vanished and you're going to go away forever. So just don't tell Lou how it really is, Grumpy, or you're going to disappear.
If he listened to me, he'd be in better shape than he is now.
Ooh.
He'd be retired, sitting there looking after Fredo's kids. That's what he'd be doing.
Look at that. Tony Cheese got married. And look, Grumpy, is this pictures from the upcoming wedding there, Tony Cheese? He said Drew is a creep.
Oh, I thought, oh, wow. I don't know. That's taking shots at Drew on his wedding day. I don't understand.
No. Tony Cheese was the one who got married, Grumpy.
I know. But why is he worried about what Drew's doing on his wedding day?
I don't know, Grumpy. Dan P says bottom six needs an overhaul.
No. We have the team is loaded with bottom six guys. It's a top six. It's its issue. I mean, how many true top six players do we have? True top six players? Three maybe. Three.
I give it three. Brock Nelson,
Yep.
Matt Barzal, and Bo Horvat.
That's it.
Better than it was in past years.
Adley.
You want to know who's not in there? Average Anders Lee, below average Anders Lee. Zach Parise certainly not in there. Shouldn't even be on an NHL roster now.
Oh,
Casey Zizekas, back to the fourth line for you, my friend. All those guys, Tim's little favorites. Adam
P says here.
Keep reading. I'll be.
It's nice to hear you guys again. Absolutely. Thank you there, Adam. Thank you. Andrew L said, I think it feels like we gave up a lot for Horvat compared to what other teams are giving up because, you don't have to give up, you don't have to give up that much in the first place. Good luck reading this, TJ. I was about to say, I'm like, where the hell's the punctuation? Where are the commas? That's right. There's no freaking periods. It was tough for me to read that, Andrew L. There, hold on.
Okay, hold on. Now that looks like it's a signed jersey. Is it a signed jersey?
Yes.
Okay. The whole team looks like they signed it.
I got a lot on here.
Okay.
I have Beauvillier. That hurts.
Oh, what do you mean that hurts? Why don't you scratch his name out right here on live podcast world?
Oh, is that Eberle? Oh, snap.
Eberle's there too, Grumpy.
Matty Martz.
And Matt Martin has played really, really well the last 2 weeks. He's part of this cul-de-sac crew too. He's afraid of getting moved.
I better pick up my play. Right here. Johnny Boychuk, Bobby Nye. That's Matthew Barzal. This is Varley. Is that Varley? It's number. Oh no, it says 10. Who was 10? It was not Holmstrom.
Who was number 10 before?
Was that Broussard, right?
Oh, maybe. I've had this for years, so. Woo! A lot of old numbers on here. 42?
42. Sounds like a lot of ham and eggers on your jersey there.
I can't even like see.
Hold on a second here.
42?
Maybe, I don't know.
It's 42 or 92
Is
something.
that Andy Green? What was Andy Green's number?
Oh, you know what? It might not. Is it Josh
10,
Bailey?
10 was either Austin Zarnak, Derek Brassard, Steven Giunta in 2019, Alan Quine in 2016 through 2018.
Oh, I want to see what Josh Bailey's signature. If this is Josh Bailey's signature, I'm gonna.
Oh my gosh, that the value of that shirt will skyrocket if Josh Bailey's on that.
If Josh Bailey's on it, you might as well just burn that jersey.
It is not Josh Bailey's signature. It is.
Well, he's number 12. I know he's number 12. Maybe he doesn't know.
Mayfield. Maybe it's Scotty.
He's 24.
But he was.
He was a different
Mayfield's signature. Let me see. I gotta see this.
That doesn't look like an S. It looks like an A.
I know, right? That's why I'm like, yeah, no, it's not Scott. I don't know, bro.
It's funny because I have an Islanders the stick that they signed down here, and that's when Zdeno Chara was still on the team.
Many a year, so.
And there's only I can't remember everybody.
Well, Zdeno Chara, the first time he was on the team, just to clarify that.
Yeah, not the last time. The first time he was on the team. I remember. I don't know if you remember, TJ. They had all the Islanders had all the younger guys dye their hair blonde. Oh, Kim's whipping everything out of the closet today. Boy, that sounded really bad, didn't it?
No, but she's got everything. She's got everything up there, Grumpy.
I know she's does.
Set up, that's for certain. Drew L saying, you know who is good enough? The New York Nets. And Joseph C says, absolutely not.
All right.
Chara jersey.
Respect it.
Oh, who's that?
Ooh, to get best wishes, Zdeno Chara.
Look at that.
And I also got the face signed.
Oh, wow.
He also signed his face.
He was a really nice guy. We met him, a really nice guy. He was a kid, but he was a really nice guy with that horrible bleach blonde hair. Eric Cairns was still playing for him at the time.
Hey, frosted tips were a thing, bro.
No. All the young guys had that hair. They were bad. They were like, okay, this is a hazing thing. You're getting your hair dyed. That's what it was.
What patch was that? What type of Chara patch was that on the front of the jersey?
Have you gone to Isles Lab?
No.
Okay. They have patches that you can put on the jerseys, and they have every single player.
Really?
You can get the player's name and like a likeness of him on a patch to put on your jersey.
Huh.
You want to see it again?
I was like, yeah, I want to see that. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. I'm like, where do you even find something like that? Was going to be my next question.
Any player on the like most players, I think, on the team actually. So this is like something they sell at Isles Lab. You can get it as a regular patch, or you can get it sewn onto the jersey.
Oh, nice. That is neat. That's neat.
I bet you they're overstocked on Josh Bailey's.
He's probably just you have to order to print that one. They don't keep any extra stock of him. They don't have to worry about a whole bunch of those orders coming in of Josh Bailey.
Probably not. That's like a la carte item.
John Smith said, I'd like to see what Ishakov can do in the NHL before this year is over.
I think if we realistically fall out of the playoff race, they absolutely should bring him up. Why not?
Nick D said, this is a perfect time to trade away all-star Brock Nelson.
I 100% agree. 100% agree.
If they get a new general manager, I wonder, right? Because that's something we've talked about is, we've heard on good, reliable sources that there's an offer possibly going to be made to him around 2 years for Lamoriello. But if Lamoriello, something happens or Lamoriello doesn't sign or the team, ownership makes a switch or change of mind, with the new general manager, you have to feel like there's going to be a difference of an approach, right? They're not just if they have a new general manager, there's going to be a change of approach, and I wonder what that's going to entail. So
right, and I mean, he's probably of tradable assets. He's the most tradable asset you have, and you get the most for him. I don't think there's any way you don't get a number one, a number two, and a young prospect who's in the league.
Two
first plus you're getting for a guy like Brock Nelson if you trade him.
I mean, I would do that in a second because by the time that the team is good again, he's gone. He's gone. You move him now. Let's expedite the process, Kim. Let's move on from this organization. Let's get some young blood in here. Let's break up the cul-de-sac crew.
David D said, common sense. Why not trade Mayfield and Varlamov for draft picks? Then use one of them to add a player that is younger than 30 years old. God forbid he does that. Lou is only good for one trade a year, and now he's going to go back to sleep. That's a pretty violent way that Lou's sleeping, I guess.
Probably got sleep apnea, I'm betting.
Sounds like Fredo's holding him down.
Fredo, let me tell you something. I don't want to see Fredo here. That's for certain.
I'm gonna let you read the next few here, Grumpy. Drew
The fact that
L.
this organization doesn't think much of Ishikov is laughable. The dude is more capable of playing third line minutes now. He's not a third line guy, though. He should be a top 6 guy. Nick D says Ishikov is too light to play. He needs to gain 20 pounds. In today's modern NHL, he can play because of the lack of physicality, the lack of interference. He can be a success. Size does not matter like it used to. He's really, really short, though. And I think maybe the Islanders, look at the Islanders. We're pretty much a big team, right?
So
maybe they have kind of like a little phobia against the little fellas. Maybe.
It's dazed. I don't know what that is. That looks like somebody on some nightmare fuel or some sort of like mascot.
Shout out to the grumpy old man. Thank you much, Dazed. Appreciate it. Just to let you know, 2-0. Lightning over the Red Wings. 13:58 to go in the third period. Red Wings are out shooting the Lightning 41-15 today. Vasilevsky's been spectacular.
41-15. So I mean the Red Wings are turning it on.
Yeah.
It's like the Rangers against the Jets.
Yeah.
John Smith there, Grumpy.
I do find watching the games are way more enjoyable without Bailey on the ice, even if we end up losing. I mean, but really, do you even notice Bailey when he's out there? Just a space filler. It's like, like at the Academy Awards when, one of the stars has to go to the bathroom. They just have Josh Bailey sit in their seats so that to the national TV audience, it looks like somebody's in the seats.
I'll disagree. You do notice him when he F's up.
There it is. I think that's a good point. When he makes a big blunder or mistake, you say, Bailey, Bailey, Bailey.
Bailey. Damn Bailey.
I am guilty of screaming that a lot.
I don't hate him as much because he doesn't play. He's not playing now.
Drew L there, Grumpy.
Nick D, remember guys like Kaylor Yamamoto exist? Gosh, how many times do I have to mention this to Islander fans? Is insane. Doesn't matter what his weight is.
Yeah, I mean, Yamamoto plays. I think he's still in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, but he's not even that great.
Yeah. Punever Curtis says here, Connor McDavid on pace for 150 points this season.
He's
pretty
good.
decent.
But he's McDavid.
We had a debate on these are the type of debates that happen on TJ and Grumpy Old Man show. Who makes more of an impact and who is the better out of these three? And we're trying to see if it's more recency bias or do the facts back it up? McDavid, Crosby, or Ovechkin?
And sorry, what was the question about them again?
Who is the best out of those three? Again, McDavid still has more time. He's playing in his career and is just entering the prime. But we were trying to gauge because the game has changed where now, you put a stick on the wrist. Now it's automatically a penalty. There's a lot more power plays going around, a lot less clutching and grabbing. Goaltenders a little bit down. But who is better, McDavid or Ovechkin or Crosby?
I'm putting Ovechkin out because the biggest thing about Ovechkin is that he's got his slap shot, his primary goal kind of thing. When you look at guys like Crosby and McDavid, they have much more to their game when it comes to puck handling, speed, things like that. So I'm going to cross Ovechkin off the list there. And I think it's more Crosby, McDavid. Just because I'm thinking about all around what do they bring to the game. Both of them are just great skill-wise. I think when it comes to speed, it's going to be taken by McDavid. I mean, that's one of the reasons that he was so, seen at first is his speed on the ice.
Will Kim redeem herself in my eyes tonight? I'm waiting. Go. Keep going, Kim.
It's a difficult one because they're both very impactful players. But if you're talking about just points in consistent where there's highlights almost every night about a player, I just go McDavid.
Yeah, there we go.
No way.
Yeah.
I saw the light in your eyes.
It's Crosby. It's Crosby. Crosby,
No, it's McDavid, Grump.
absolutely not. It's Crosby.
X agree
McDavid's
with me
never
too.
won anything. He's never won anything.
Okay.
It doesn't matter about what you win though, because you can be stuck like how Connor McDavid is stuck in the goddamn Oilers and don't win crap. You know, you have to have a team around you. You don't win cups by
Mario
one player.
Lemieux. Mario Lemieux played for those shitty Penguins team, and he turned them
It's
around.
not the same league anymore, Grump.
Okay,
Crosby,
Sidney
who else does
Crosby,
he have? He
3
has,
Stanley
he has
Cups.
Malkin, he has Letang, he has, he
3
has all
Stanley
these other
Cups.
players around him. The only person that McDavid has is like Draisaitl. That's it.
Crosby makes those around him better. McDavid doesn't. Same reason I think that
Oh, get the
he
fuck
does
out
not
of
make
here.
players around him better. Absolutely
McDavid does not make players around him better.
I can agree with that.
It's the same reason why
I
I
can agree
say
with that.
John Tavares is a better player than Matt Barzal because he makes others around him better. Matt Barzal
Disagree
does
with
not do
that. I don't think he made anyone. Yeah, because he made Josh Bailey a top tier
He
player.
made Kyle Okposo. He made Matt Molson. He made Theo Parento.
No,
he made those
didn't.
guys.
Tavares didn't make shit about those guys.
Oh.
I think still John Tavares had deficiencies in his game, like he couldn't skate, he didn't play defense, but the guy sure as hell knew how to try to maximize everybody on the ice. At least I thought
he was really good at that. He was really good player.
But personality, if you're going like personality wise, Crosby over McDavid.
McDavid, Grumpy, you heard it there. I don't care about McDavid.
Here's the thing. I knew Kim was going on the wrong
but
side.
she started to say that we were looking at points
about
and highlights.
individual player aspect and talent. It's going to be McDavid. If you're going via the personality side. Oh well, he's a good captain. He's able to converse and get the team going. Yeah, you're going to go Crosby.
Who's the better
McDavid
player?
Has the personality of a serial killer.
I'm not talking. It's like
I'm liking this guy McDavid more and more every day.
It's like I brought up Marcel Dion.
It's your answer is depending on the specificity of the
intangibles count for something. They do. Like Mark Messier. All right. He was a great player,
and couldn't win a cup without Gretzky.
Well, he did. He did in New York. So,
but he couldn't do it alone.
But he was a leader.
Couldn't do it alone.
To me, I'll take a guy like that every day of the week. Mark Messier, to me, is like a top 10 all-time player.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe even higher than that. I was going to say top 5. But I'm like, all right, I don't want to.
Absolutely. He's absolutely one of the best players to ever play the game.
Well, I did get a picture. Drew L sent me a picture of Grumpy at it looks like some sort of fair or some sort of like fair, maybe like a county fair or a state fair or something like that. But it says Grumpy when he mentions Sidney Crosby or Tom Brady. Grumpy is eating. It looks like some sort of an item that looks almost like a
phallic symbol.
Say, Grumpy, look at you. You're gonna eat some sort of penis there, Grumpy.
Well, here's the thing,
Crosby or
here's the thing. Huh. Anyone who knows me knows that I am not a Sidney Crosby fan.
No, you're not.
Absolutely not. I don't like him. But that doesn't mean I can't recognize how good a player he is and has been and played through injuries and all that stuff.
Yeah, that he's the second best or third best out of that group. But John A says here, I've been saying this. If he had any intention on making this team truly better in the interim,
I feel like that's not completed.
Yeah, I pulled it up. I was like, oops. Freedom Fun Adventure said last episode, I asked Grumpy if he had heard of Joe the Strummer song.
No, not Joe the Strummer. It's not Joe. It's Joe Strummer. The Joe Strummer song, Minstrel Boy. TJ read it as Menstrual Boy. That's your boy, Grump. Yeah, it's freaking embarrassing. I even said, you want me to read this comment? You're no. We could have had a great summer of team picks. The team keeps the picks and sells. Doubt they do.
It's like I just heard him say pitcher instead of picture.
Sure. There it is. David D says here, how is it that all the Metro teams are able to pull off moves, but we cannot do anything? No more excuses. Well, we did make one move.
It's because our general manager is 80 years old. And guess what? I hate to say it, as good as he used to be in 1990, it's not 1990 anymore. He's 80. And as great as he was, he's never been the same general manager since they've had salary cap. Just hasn't, period. End of sentence, end of story. When he could keep those guys under his thumb and not pay him anything, he was a really good GM. Now, not so much.
Punapierta says, at what point do we call back a Richard Panik from overseas? Or I think maybe, or even Leo Komarov. Maybe
Press
some.
the panic button.
Oh, there it is. I like that. Press the panic
Hit
button.
the panic button.
It's Days says, chill on Parise. He's the hardest working Islander. That's coming to you, Grumpy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hasn't been the same player the second half of the year. Just hasn't.
Doug R. Grumpy, I'll let you read this here.
We're not going anywhere as long as loser is GM.
No, he
Rather
didn't say loser. He said Lou.
Rather have a GM like Bill Guerin, who is willing to just cut ties with older players, even if it hurts a bit in the near term. Absolutely. I'd take Bill Guerin here in a nanosecond. You want to know who wouldn't be here? Zach Parise wouldn't be here. He's already cut his ass once. I think he couldn't wait to sharpen the knives and cut him off the roster.
Joseph C says that you do have to trade Parise. He's an impending free agent. He's 38 years old. Yeah.
They should have moved him last year.
Yep.
No.
When he still had something in the tank.
Brett W said, but Lou has handshake deals, to not move out guys on expiring deals. How could he ever trade them? Good grief. Fire Lou.
Absolutely.
We've been hearing, let me ask you this, Kim, just to take a second away from the comments. We've been hearing a lot on social media. People are like, fire Lane Lambert. Now, are you in the fire Lane Lambert crew, or what are your thoughts? I know, like you said, hey, he goes to the blender way too often, but what are your thoughts on him this season?
It's so difficult. It's so difficult to weigh in. Because we've seen Barry Trotz come in, and not all coaches are going to be Barry Trotzes that come in and completely flip a team around and show, bring the best out of him. He was a fantastic coach, and we've experienced Capuanos where it's bad. So it's like I feel like he's just in that middle. Like he's not Barry Trotz level amazing, but he's not Capuano level bad. He's just like, I feel like he's like a Doug Weight. He's just stuck in the middle, and it's just he does the same things, but his tactics just aren't working. I just feel like maybe this might be a year. I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to looking at other coaching options.
I always came in with the expectation early on he was doing great. Everybody's like, oh man, I said there are going to be issues that we don't know about yet. He's a first-time NHL head coach. He's going to have deficiencies. It's going to take him a while to get up to speed. I had no thought process or no thoughts that he was going to be a better head coach than Barry Trotz his first year.
Going Bruce, there it is.
There it is. Okay, for Bruce Boudreau. I don't know. It really depends on what happens with the general manager because, right, if Lou's not back, he's general manager wants to hire a new head coach.
If Lamoriello's not back, he's gone.
Probably.
Lamoriello's not going to move him. It's not his fault anyway. It's Lamoriello's fault. This team is poorly constructed. That's all in the GM. It's the same guys that he had last year. Same guys. Yes, he added Horvat now. But for the first, 55, 56 games, with the same cast and crew of last year. Just not good enough. Sorry.
Got a comment here from It's Days. He says, true point on Varley. Maybe time to move. Freedom Fun Adventure said, Gross said the team and Lou desperately want playoff. Now, I'm not sure how true this this is my first time seeing it, but he says, Gross said that Lou and the team desperately want playoff revenue. I get it, but why screw the organization for years over 2 to 3 games of ticket revenue at USB or UBS Arena or USB Arena? Damn, Grumpy, you've infected me. USB Arena. The team has nada. It's not like they're playing desperate.
Well, and it's 2 playoff games. That's all they're getting is 2. That's what happens when you get swept. So it's not going to be 3. There's no way that first round series would go 7.
TJ, I know. I hope if we make playoffs, I'm hitting you up when we win a game.
There it is. There it is.
So what happens when we don't make playoffs?
I think
am I coming on your show, Kim? When we don't make playoffs.
That would be an interesting hour. Well, come to watch the Kim and the Craze podcast with 1 hour of grumpy old man telling me I told you so.
Oh, good gracious. I've got to see if you Freedom Fun Venture, shoot me that article because I want to look over that. If that's what they said, I'm just yikes, the ownership, yikes. Brett W says, TJ, I think we have all lost hope that our ancient fossil of a general manager will do the right thing.
True.
Dan P says, truth bomb. Doug R says trade Varlamov, and if he's available as an unrestricted free agent, try to bring him back at a very low
Why
number.
not?
You
Why
can do
not?
that too if he wants. If he wants to be with Sorokin, say, "Hey, we're gonna give you a chance to win a cup this year, and then we can bring you back." But Nick D, Grumpy.
The only big news I want to hear from Lou is it's been a career, but it's time for me to retire. I just can't keep up with this game anymore. Everyone else knows about it. Whatever he wants. I really only want to give you a second. It's going to take a first, Lou. All right, I'll give you the first and Atu Ratu. How about that? Sure, we'll take it.
Oh, man. Good gracious. David D, Grumpy.
No team in the NHL puts their fourth liner on the top line but us. I love Matty, but he's not a first-line player. I'm sure Lou had to say he's able to with Lane. With an established coach, they will say no.
Matt
Brings
Martin
it.
hasn't looked bad, though. I wouldn't say he hasn't looked terrible.
I think Matt Martin's played well this season. I mean, this has been, I'd argue, maybe one of the best years I've seen out of Matt Martin in maybe the last 5 or 6 years. This has been a really good year for Matt Martin. So, I mean, you don't want to ideally have to put, fourth liners on the first line. It just
We're also getting hit by an injury bug. Teams teams have done this, getting hit by injury bug. You got to do what you got to do at this point.
Yep. Yeah. And got a comment here.
He's a hack.
Freedom Fund Adventure, Grumpy.
A team really wanting to make the playoffs would be playing with a level of desperation not seen since TJ was in high school and college. Which guys are infecting the locker room with a lack of intensity of care? Number 27 is number 1 in my book. Number freaking 1. He's a lazy dog. You know how I know he's a lazy dog? Because the 2 or 3 times when maybe there's a threat of somebody getting moved out of the cul-de-sac, all of a sudden his play picks up. Those guys drive me crazy. You could always say that Anders Lee was going to give you 100% effort every night. He doesn't do that anymore. There are games when he does, but for the most part, he's below average Anders Lee. He's number 1 on my list. Zach Parise Jr.
I do think that there is the mentality of the team definitely is a cul-de-sac mentality. I would be hard pressed to answer any other way. It's just kind of like we're all happy to be here. It's a great community. And for people, right, it's great. But for winning, it's a little bit better where it's kind of like, hey, we're here business, right? Every time we come in here, it's business. We got friends because I'm acquaintances with you and I work with you and you're a colleague. But, in the same token, we're just all focused on winning games. And that's kind of where it draws the line. But I'm not sure who infects the group the most. But these are all guys that are very close knit, a tight group, tight community. Think about it. Most of them have played for each other for more than a decade. They play with each other, so they know each other.
And never won anything. Never won anything.
Yeah.
How do you stay in an organization as a group for 10 years and never win anything? To me, it's mind-boggling.
Oh man,
boggles the mind.
Nick D said, "True." Or TJ, when are we going to have a call-in session? I don't know. Maybe towards the tail end of the year. I don't know. Maybe if there's a crazy thing that happens at the deadline, maybe we'll do it on Saturday because I assume we'll have I don't know. I don't know, Nick. Maybe soon. Just depends on what's going on regarding Islander news. Drew L. Grumpy.
The thing with this organization that Lou is good at finding middle 6 talent later on in the draft. How can you say that? No one he's picked has made the team. Except for Holmstrom, who they forced in there. The thing is, all the top-end players are in the first round. Can we name, besides Simon Holmstrom, anybody else that Lou Lamoriello has drafted who's actually played for this team? Again, he's gone.
I know, that's why I'm laughing.
And Dobson and Wallstrom don't count because that was, he was here for a week, and those were the draft picks. That had nothing to do with him.
Still drafted him.
No, he didn't do anything.
He picked.
Oh man,
watch your step over there.
Nick D said Josh Bailey is a great leader in the locker room. Grumpy.
I just wish he'd be a better player on the ice.
It's Days says Parise 100% has value, and Joseph.
I bet he sell the hell out of some insurance.
Joseph C says here there are plenty of bottom 6 grinders in the league. Ponyberg Curtis said, if we don't want to, with the gun scenario, maybe we could just choose Fredo as a general manager and Professor Bailey as the assistant GM. Wouldn't that be a great combo, Grumpy?
I'd love for the fans to start chanting Fredo at every single game if he was named GM. Fredo, Fredo. He'd be gone in a year. He would not last.
Oh my gosh. I tell
Talk
you.
about nepotism at its finest. Give Fredo a job.
Oh my gosh. We got a comment here from It's Days said she's spitting and shut down talking about Parise. Drew L said, Kim, if you watched the last TJ and the Grumpy Old Man episode, we learned that Grumpy can't admit whenever he's wrong. I guess that's where TJ got it from.
Here's
What
the thing.
hell? How did I get
Here's the thing.
one, Drew?
When
What?
I am wrong, I can't admit it. I've not been wrong on this show.
Oh. And then
You can't
Shay
even
said-
admit when he's wrong when he is wrong.
Shay says, laugh massive. Grumpy's going crazy when somebody disagrees with him. I guess I see where TJ gets it from now. How the fuck am I keep getting Grumpy over here getting slayed, and I guess that's where TJ got that from.
I'm interested in the comments where I'm wrong. I'm dying to find out where I'm wrong.
It happened
Because-
so long ago. It happened. This is like at the very beginning of the show when we were talking about Parise.
Oh, Parise. He's finished. He's
Anyway.
finished.
Easy.
He's finished.
And John Smith said, I'll let you read this one, Grumpy. I'm going to continue
You're
trying.
fighting over bottom six wingers.
Hell yes, I am.
Parise is fine where he is at this point in his career. At least we're not paying him $5 million a year at Bailey.
Exactly.
All I said was in the last 20 some odd games, he's not been the same player. Just hasn't been. He was much more noticeable with his hustle. He just has not been that player again.
Well,
not
it's
this
also-
year.
It doesn't help when all of his line mates get hurt.
Well, he might be hurt also. And that's
I
what
don't
that was
think
my caveat. Well, if he's not hurt, he sucks. He's finished then. But it could also be that he's, 38 and a half years old.
God,
I
I want
mean-
to see Grumpy coach like little kids. Like,
Let me tell you
We
something.
used to coach a team.
Just straight normal.
Absolutely. I get the most out of those kids. I'm like freaking Scotty Bowman and Al Arbor all in one. Coaching those kids. And you want to know who my
Don't
assistants
put Al
were?
Arbor on your name.
My assistants were Fredo over here.
Oh, shit. That must have been X. X
No,
must have
and
been
Son X
Fredo.
knew what he was talking about.
I knew what I was talking about.
We
too.
always got the most out of the talent that we had. Always.
We
had-
once ran a little team for 1 year.
2 years.
We-
It was 2 years.
Oh, it was 2 years. That's right. We volunteer coached a little league, a 9 and 10 youth like rec baseball team. Myself, X, and Grumpy. And let me put you like this: Grumpy, I'm sure as you can imagine. Hold on, this is a story that must be freaking told. And God, I wish X was here to be in corral.
X is right over there. X is
Tell
right
X,
over there.
oh X, stand behind the microphone, and I'll let you speak into it because if X is there, do you remember X where Grumpy got in an altercation at Little League Baseball where he didn't even have kids involved because they were playing? We were playing. It was like an They had I'm trying to describe it here. They had for this Little League, they had our group that played at one spot and another group that played at another spot. And they didn't like each other. We made the playoffs or something like
They're a
that.
horseshit team. They're a horseshit team.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It's 9 and 10-year-old baseball. And what you don't do is take advantage of the fact that the kids are 9 and 10. And they like to do this. Like there's a rule where if the pitcher's on the mound and he gets the ball, you can't move up a base. So they'd have a guy be halfway down the base, back and forth, where the only reason you could take advantage of a kid like that is because they're 9 and 10. If they're 15 and 16, that guy's thrown out instantaneously. You're not teaching the kids the game of baseball. So he'd hold back, and I said, you know what? You want to play like that? I said, we'll play like that. So I decided to play like that. We blew him out, just blew him right off the planet. And I said, typical whatever town.
No. This was before it happened. This was before we blew them out. This was when they started doing that. And Grumpy said, no, you could say where it is. Grumpy, to the other team, because they had to have a meeting with the ump. They brought both the managers. They brought both typical Pineville. And
That's
Grumpy.
exactly what I said, because they like to do that shit. Not all their teams is one guy's team.
So Grumpy was a.
Stole every base except
I didn't hear no bell.
There it is.
He stole
X.
every base except
So then, you know what we did? I said, you want to play like that? No problem. And that's what we did. And we 10-runned them the next inning. You want to play like that? No problem. You're not teaching your kids how to play the game. That's what it's all about, is teaching the kids how to play the game. And that's what we were about, is teaching the kids how to play the game.
But I'm sure, as you can imagine, Grumpy, as fiery as on this show, was
Absolutely.
just as fiery as he
Oh
is
my
coaching
God.
9 and
When
10
I was
years
younger,
old.
even
I
more
was joking,
fiery.
but oh my God.
Was this like 5-6 years ago, right, Grumpy? 5
Yep.
years ago?
Yep. I just, like I said, we were just there as a youth coach. You're there to make sure that all the kids, number one, have fun. Number one, most important, and learn how to play the game. That's what you're there for. Nothing else.
You know what? You know what just showed? Grumpy just showed a real big softness right there. That is as tough as he is and as hard as he gives it, his intentions are pure.
Always, always. And I'll tell you what, all the parents had my back. Every single parent had my back. They were even they were trying to take the bullet from
each
me.
other, they were swaying back and forth, you know.
They were. And seriously, one of them, the worst kid on the team, his dad was trying to take the bullet for me because I absolutely got in trouble for that.
Yes,
So
I'm sure. Yes,
they
I'm
wanted
sure.
me to write a letter of apology. I'm like, dude, I ain't writing no letter of apology. I said, that's right. You can send me. That's right. They should apologize to me.
I forgot that happened. Yeah, Grumpy did cause a scene, though. Grumpy, I'm sure, as you can imagine, as soon as they did that, Grumpy is not one to be like, hey, let's talk about this real quick and let's do this. He'd be like, what? And he starts doing it and making a little bit of a scene, as Grumpy does.
We took a team, our first year, a team that hadn't won a game in 2 years. 2 years had not won a game, getting obliterated. And we were 5-5 and went to the third round of the playoffs. Ooh. And to me, that was the greatest coaching job I've ever done, was that little team, the Pickles. These kids were so young. I always let the kids, you name your team. You absolutely name your team. We get colors. You know, we had green, and I'm like just picking on one kids. These kids were young. And when I say, like, you know, there's a young 9-year-old, and then there's like a baby 9-year-old. And they were babies. Like, oh, let's call our team the Grass. I'm like, no, I said,
grass.
Can't name it the Grass. Just, no. And they said the Pickles. And I'm like, okay.
That's just too adorable. And
the Pickles. So we were the Pickles. And like I said, it was great. And the fact that I got to coach with my sons, which is what made it the best, honestly, that was what it was about for me. And then the next year, we were good. We were undefeated the next year.
So now we know Grumpy for new Islanders head coach.
Absolutely. I get the most out of every player. And here's the thing, if you don't want to be here, you're gone. You're out. Even if you want to be here. If you suck, you sit. Best players play.
Oh, man.
All right.
It stays says his name's the Grumpy Old Man, for Christ's sakes. Don't expect him to change his opinion. I can respect that.
There you go.
David D. Grumpy.
The Islanders organization are trying to make Holmstrom more than he really is. Absolutely. Which will not change that he is fine. Another third line player. How many of them do we have on the team now? About 9.
Oh, John Smith.
I think we need to put Holmstrom in a package and get him off this team. He's a dud. They're not getting rid of him. Here's the thing. Lamoriello is never trading him. Never. He'll move every other prospect that we have. Anyone else who have value under the age of 40, he'll move them, but he's never getting rid of Holmstrom. That's the only draft pick he has to put his reputation on it, is this freaking guy.
This guy. Jake K. Coming again to the defensive Parise. Well, the last Parise.
Parise with a game-winning goal that was pure hustle. 2 late blocks against Pittsburgh on Monday, and another block late in the game against Winnipeg. At his age, I give him some credit for that. I'm just saying he's not been the same player. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he was injured.
It's not all about points, Grumpy. It's not all about points.
Maybe
he brought up something too that was fantastic. Those 2 blocks, absolutely.
Maybe he's been injured. That's the caveat, because we've been saying this, TJ, on the show for a couple of weeks now, where he's not been the same guy, and we said maybe he's been injured.
Yeah, could be
which he gets a pass.
Maybe,
but he's not been the same guy the last 20 games. That one game notwithstanding.
Got here, Ponyberg Curtis, Grumpy.
Grump, what is the worst thing to get infected with? Devilitis or Bailey and Holmsterism? It's unfortunately, we have both. We've been injected with devilitis.
Like some viruses or some diseases, Grumpy. I need to know which one I have to avoid if I'm walking on a street. I'm like, oh shit, that guy's got devilitis.
I think I'd want to have devilitis more
New Jersey.
Because you're going to get paid if you get devilitis. So overpaid. But if you have Bailey or Holmstromism, you just suck. Sorry.
Oh, God almighty. Oh, goodness gracious. Got here a comment from John Smith, Grumpy.
How about that first line winger, Matt Martin? Laugh out loud. He had like 15% of the total shots in that LA game. He's played well.
He has.
For the last, I want to say, week and a half?
About that. Like,
Let's see it for the full
we
year.
wanted more from Martin all this time. When he finally steps up and does them, people are like pissed about it.
This is the best he's played, I want to say, in 2 years.
Yeah.
I would say more than that. This is the best Matt Martin has played in almost 5 years. It's just
I'm not going to go 5 years. I'm not going to go 5 years. But I'll say in the last 2 years, to me, he was totally cashed. And all of a sudden, maybe it's because it's deadline time. And maybe he's fearing that he might get moved off the team. Who knows?
That's the guy where if somebody wants Matt Martin, I trade him.
I always find it funny that as we come up on the deadline, all the vets all of a sudden start playing really hard. And then as soon as that deadline passes, well, we're not playing so hard anymore.
We'll have to see it again, but
we're going to see it. That absolutely happened last year.
And got here John A. Grumpy.
Fair to say, and freaking sad as well, that Parise is Lou's best free agent signing. On second thought, maybe Leonard was.
Leonard, I think, was the best free agent signing.
Yes.
1 year deal, and then
Hold on, she's got a wall of Leonard, Grumpy.
I noticed it earlier. I didn't want to say anything about it.
A wall of Leonard. Okay, there it is. There it is.
I forgot how much of a fan of yours he was.
What
did you think about? What did you think about him losing all his money selling exotic snakes?
Right here too.
There it is, Grumpy. Yeah, the exotic snake farm or something like that. I saw that. I was like, what an odd thing to sell.
I feel so sad though. Like he was trying to save because the farm was going out of business. He was trying to save and be there because he's a huge lover of reptiles. It's kind of like how people love, just like people open animal rescues or things like that for dogs and cats or things like that. It's really upsetting to me, that he wasn't able to, financially keep that going. And then everyone has business ventures. Sometimes they are successful, sometimes they fail. I feel bad.
Where was his wife for some perspective on this situation?
Maybe she loves reptiles too.
She's like, honey,
I don't like all
the money for his daughter. It was so cute.
Grumpy, sometimes people like reptiles. I know Grumpy and the warden did not like any reptiles. They didn't like anything unless it was a cat. No. I remember once we got a hermit crab. Not a fan. I remember
Hermie the hermit crab.
We got frogs, aquatic frogs.
Froggy the frog. We were real imaginative in this house.
Oh,
naming these creatures. Catty the cat.
Doggy
the dog.
Catty the
Snakey the snake. Buildy the Build-A-Bear. Sad.
Oh man.
Lack of creativity.
Stop. Okay, hold on one second here. We got here a comment from Shay, Grumpy.
You know who notices Bailey's out of the lineup? The Islanders broadcast, since they cannot spread the Bailey propaganda as often as they can when he's playing.
Oh,
very true. I just always love when they say, Josh Bailey, the smartest guy in the NHL. You know what they never say? Josh Bailey, a good NHL player. They never say that.
Oh, he's so smart, though.
So smart. Can't skate, shoot, pass, defend. He's smart, though.
Got a comment here from Max Power.
Evening all. I think Bailey being out has had a more positive impact than Barzy being out has a negative impact. Bailey needs to stay in the press box once he gets healthy. That'll never happen, though.
Here's my thing, though. Yes, Bailey's been out, and that's given us, honestly, the opportunity to bring up guys like Durando and things like that. But Bailey has been scratched from games.
Yeah.
And when he was scratched in the regular lineup, I didn't see much improvement anyways. It's an interesting, take about it. To just shove that in there.
Because we don't have anybody who's better in the organization.
Got a comment here from Freedom, Fun, and Adventure.
Bailey is horrible. I can't stand him. Parise, Fashing, insert many other names or Jags. They must do better. You want to re-sign Parise, it's for the fourth line. Team has little intensity. They don't care. I'm not going to bag on Bailey anymore.
The team, what's so shocking about the thing is, I don't want, and I wonder if we're confusing lack of intensity for not showing up against bad teams, but playing well against good teams, or finding ways to win against good teams. Because guess what? Under Trotz, we never lost against a bad team. So we had 4 or 5 years of consistently pounding the shit out of the bad teams like we should have, and we'd lose and sometimes scrape away with wins against good teams. Now under Lane Lambert, it's almost like it's a polar opposite, to where the bad teams we can never seem to close out a game against, and the good teams will luck our way into victory. Like, how the hell are we got outplayed by Winnipeg and we beat them. We got outplayed against the Pittsburghs, but we beat them in regulation both times. Like, it's a complete polar opposite. And I wonder if that has an effect on people thinking the intensity isn't there because we lose to the bad teams.
Okay, for me, I think the thing that frustrates fans, and myself included, is when you come out and see a game like against the Kings yesterday. The Kings are, and it's hard for me to figure out the reason why. I almost want to say, well, guess what? Most of our forwards are in the 30s. So they're getting outskated by these younger teams. They're just better skaters. And it makes us look like we're not hustling when maybe we are, and we just don't have the legs anymore to keep up with these teams. That's a distinct possibility too.
I have some final scores for you guys.
I want to hear them. Final score updates.
Lightning Red Wings, final 3-0 Lightning.
45 saves for Vasilevsky.
Yep.
Damn.
Devils over Flyers, 7-0. Senators Canadians, 5-2 Senators.
Wow. They had a big third period.
Yeah, they did. I want to. Who scored? I'm very curious. Pinto, Watson, Batherson. Ooh, uno, dos, tres. Ducks beat the Hurricanes.
Wow.
In regulation, 3-2.
Wow.
Only 15 shots for the Ducks. 53 for the Hurricanes. Holy.
They do shoot the puck.
Gibson and net for the Ducks.
Yeah.
Give it to Gibson. Right now, 2-0 over with West, 2-0 over the Flames is the Avalanche, Stars, and Golden Knights end of first.
And Boston won today, did they not?
Boston, yeah, they did. Over the Vancouver Canucks.
3-1, and a goal from Olmark.
Yes.
Linus Olmark with a goal. I gotta love that.
He's your Vezina Trophy winner.
His numbers have been crazy good.
He's good. Let's get that next comment up there, Sunshine. You want to be on the PK for no good reason? Put Johnston on the roster. He is a liability now with his reputation. Gets penalties for just being on the ice. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Barry Trotz ruined Ross Johnston. He tried to turn him into a hockey player as opposed to what he was.
A box on skates.
A boxer on skates, a bull in a china closet. Teams are afraid of him, and he neutered him. Sorry.
This is the anniversary of Slapshot.
There you go. David D says, give us Domi from Chicago. He's grit, toughness, and can score goals here and there. He's better than what we have putting on the wing outside of the top 3 forwards. Bo, Croc, and Matty B. Domi, you can re-sign as well. He's only 27. He's not like he's in his 30s.
Hold on. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I've got a comment that I'm going to post up here because I think it's hilarious. Patrick Amos says, Dr. Grumpy, I've got a toothache. Dr. Grumpy, you're going to die in 6 hours. Being extremely hyperbolic. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Probably got an infection in the jaw. He's on the way out. Sorry, Patrick H.
Good gracious.
Should have taken better care of your teeth.
Jack W.
We've not played great this season, and don't give that damn dog any food that he's going to eat on my rug. X.
Okay.
We've not played great this season, and we're still in the mix. Good teams have to win ugly, and shitty teams absolutely have to win ugly.
Oh, good gracious. What's up, Jack? How are you? Freedom Fun Adventure says Johnston rules. Maybe not for peace and love, Islander fans who just think that everybody is the best, even when they lose and give zero effort. This is not a playoff team. The dudes cannot wait to play golf. Oh, man. Freedom Fun Adventure.
Anders Lee is like a really good golfer. He gets a shitload of practice every spring.
Oh, stop. Okay, Grumpy, get another comment.
Joseph C says, Grumpy Old Man can't go on the podcast where I'm talking about his beloved Tom Brady, the greatest athlete in American history, in the history of the world.
Oh, stop.
I think Eli Manning wins there. Kicked his ass twice in the Super Bowl.
Cristiano.
Yeah, but you know what? When they say who the greatest
Yeah,
is,
but isn't your whole thing about winning?
that's not.
Eli Manning did that over Tom
Here's
Brady.
the thing: Tom Brady in the fourth quarter put his team in the lead both times, and the defense couldn't do their job. He did the best he could. Anthony Rizzi says, "Stop it, everyone. We have no shot at making the playoffs. Look at our freaking roster compared to everyone else fighting for the wild card spots." Very true. And you know what? I think if we put the El Trio Grand out there, well, it's one of them, two of them are gone. But even like that, they're probably still top 6 players compared to what we got.
Got here. Drew L's got a comment, Grumpy.
Grumpy was acting like an old person in a restaurant whenever he didn't get 100% perfect service last podcast.
Oh, there it is.
I don't even remember the last podcast. I don't remember what we did.
We were talking about the big debate between McDavid. That was
Well,
before I introduced what we had talked about. That yes,
Because it's recency bias is what it is.
I claim that that's a possibility.
I saw some like live comments of people like still going at it in the chat. But that's what's fun about the question is that you can like argue for any one of the players.
That's right. Max Power says we basically need to go 14-6 in our regular schedule, reach 95 points, which is probably about the playoff cutoff line. Not too promising, in my opinion.
Now that you pull up what the exact amount of games we need to win the remainder of the season, yikes. Yikes. State of survival.
This is what is depressing. Joshua Invisibailey Fairley, 1,047 games played. Dennis, retired jersey, 4 cups Potvin, 1,060 games played. Maybe we're going to put up a banner for Josh Bailey just for being a participant. Talk about the ultimate participation trophy, giving Josh Bailey a banner because he showed up every night. Didn't play well, didn't do shit, but he was there every night.
Oh, God almighty.
Yeah,
Porterberg Curtis says here.
He's a backup, a freaking backup. That's right. That's what Varlamov is. Freaking backup.
Goon.
Gugu says, TJ, how proud of you of your favorite Islander, Rockin' Romanov, scoring on his own goalie.
Go to Weird NHL, you'll see 5 other players do it too. Shit happens. I mean, look at your profile picture. Shit happens.
Kim, she is protecting her boys out there.
I get very protective of my boys. And you know what? I have Romanov jersey like being delivered like soon.
Oh no. You and Romanov's wife. Didn't his wife just have a baby?
Whoa, but yes,
Maybe that's why he's been playing like dog shit this year.
Oh, Romanov's been bad all year. Before the kid, after the kid. My God, I just don't have any hope. I have my hopes for Romanov for solo. At that draft night, I had I'd say a pretty hyperbolic reaction. A millennial meltdown is what they'd like to call it.
We can pull that up and play it again, can't we?
It's tough. If somebody sends it to me, it's not the whole thing because the entire thing is just like I don't know.
When you compared it to statutory rape,
I do not recall.
I didn't just buy the Romanov jersey. I bought it at the beginning of December. I got it so when I went to Montreal, I could be like Romanov, and then Cool Hockey screwed me.
Okay. Andrew L says the Jets game was absolute domination, and the Islanders had no right to win that game. Unlike the Pens one, it was back and forth. To me, the Pens game was not back and forth. I thought we legitimately had a shot to beat the Jets. Not either of the Penguins games. No.
Got a comment here. We got some funny comments on the way. State of survival, Grumpy.
Trades aren't working. Cap is not moving, and the recent bankruptcy of the regional sports network this cap is not going up anytime soon. I disagree.
It is. It goes to like 90 something projected cap within the next 3 years. So the cap we'll have more cap flexibility and freedom on that side, but
I know you want me to read this comment, TJ. There's names in here. Rangers trade Vitaly K. or Kravtsov to the Canucks for William L. Lockwood, a 2026 seventh round pick. What is your take on this trade? I think we already talked
about it earlier, but I don't think we gave a take on it. Obviously, they're change of scenery. Who wins the deal, would you think? I mean, both are pretty nondescript at this point. Do you think Kravtsov has anything?
The potential is there for Vancouver to win the deal, not the Rangers.
Okay.
They gave away the kid who has the most talent.
And put it by Curtis.
I like Alex Iafallo, though. Oh, guess who scored last night? One of the three amigos. That's right. Kaliev scored.
Kaliev.
Arthur Kaliev scored. He's got 15 goals this year.
He's playing. I'm telling you, he's playing well. He's playing well. Oh God Almighty! Got a comment here from Goon.
Ponyboy Curtis. I hope Casey Anthony receives the same fate as Bob and the Outsiders.
Dude.
What happens to Bob and the Outsiders?
He goes down for the 10 count. Literally.
Yeah, that's the nice way of putting it.
He's dead.
He's never the Outsiders?
He never. Bob was in the Outsiders. He was the guy who was stabbed by Johnny because, man, he saw that those knuckles with the rings on him. He gave him a beating. I remember him. Gutted him like a fish.
Just a grumpy synopsis, but yeah. But you've never read The Outsiders?
I never read any of the books that we were required to read.
Look at this. Kim is rolling her freaking eyes at you. Kim, a 23-year-old, is rolling her eyes at you because you're lack of talent in anything.
I never read any of the books.
It's like that. I read that book in 5th grade. It was like one of my personal loves in life.
I
never read any of the books, and I think it shows, ladies and gentlemen.
You hear that, Grumpy?
Now, see, I remember that was
I have a book next to me.
Hold on, she's got The Outsiders right next to her.
I read like I could read a book a week, honestly, if I wanted to.
I mean,
all these books back here in this background are all mine too.
I was about to say it's just for show, isn't it?
that was a hugely.
TJ's like, yeah, I read.
That book was hugely popular. And I remember I read it. It was a 7th grade assignment. And, it was tough to get kids to, oh, God, we got to read books. But that book was really, really good. There was another one. The Pig Man, I think it was called.
No, it's called Animal Farm.
No, it was not Animal Farm. No, wrong again. Animal Farm was another book about an Orwellian society.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but one of the characters was called the Pig Man. And there was a couple of younger kids.
You're thinking of Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
No, it's not Lord of the Flies either.
His name was Piggy.
No, Piggy was Lord of the Flies. It was not Lord of the Flies. I will have it for the next podcast. I'll tell you what the name of that book was. One of the characters was named the Pig Man, and then there were 2 younger characters.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But I just can't remember
the name. It's not coming to me either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Man, I like how Kim can do like the rock eyebrow, though. She absolutely can do that. Do it again. It's so cool. Oh, can you do it with the other eyebrow or just that one?
No, only one eyebrow.
Oh, man. She's got...
I try it with this
one. Look at it, man. Can you smell what the rock is cooking when you do it?
There is a book called...
You smell what the rock is cooking.
You got to keep the eyebrow up, though.
By the way, The Pig Man is a book by Paul Zindel.
Okay.
Yes.
Give me a brief synopsis.
Oh, shit. Okay, let me read it. It's the novel begins with an oath signed by John and Lorraine, 2 high school sophomores.
That's it. That's the book.
This is the Outsiders cast.
There we go. There's Amelia Estevez on there. Matt Dillon.
Tom Cruise.
Did they all sign it?
Is it all signed? It's completely signed. She's saying yes. My mom taught the Outsiders.
What? Oh, wait.
I met her.
She taught all those kids?
Oh, and you met Issy Hinton 4 times.
Essie Hinton. I was stunned when I knew that was a young lady. She was like 16 years old when she wrote
16 years old when she wrote the book.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. You're welcome.
Thanks, Mom.
She's watching.
State of survival.
Mom better be subscribing to this show and the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. I'm just telling you right now. Come on, Mom, get with the program. State of Survival says we need the cul-de-sac alliance because without it, we can't attract players. Well, we can't attract players with them. I don't know what that.
The reason we couldn't attract players is because we don't have the alliance. They've got some sort of embargo, Grumpy, on bringing in unrestricted free agents. So we need the cul-de-sac alliance to allow easier trade and unrestricted free agent signings.
I'll tell you what, Son X is so valuable. He's showing us here something. The New York Islanders Flame collection.
Oh yeah, from the Bossy collection. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty neat.
Do you know how tough it was for you to get that in front of your?
It was really freaking difficult. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's the new collection, and it's because of the picture of Bossy with the flaming stick.
ooh.
So they went off of that premise and released this collection.
Let's see. Oh yeah, because we got the flame stick. Yeah, that's a nice picture right there.
Yo, you got some DMs there.
That's not mine. That's Sun X.
Okay.
Like how
Sun X has some DMs. He's gonna.
I have none of
Look at-
those. None of
Grumpy's
those.
showing a picture. He's like, "Look what I did with my backyard. Look at what my dog did over here." Is when he's holding it because he can't get it centered up on the screen. Oh, that's funny, Grumpy. But Goon, Grandpa, let you read that.
Oh, is Lollipop Lou such a dum-dum that he won't unload Mayfield for at least one fart pick? Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard
Same.
something we're going to talk about tomorrow. I don't know if either of you heard it. Vladimir Putin scored 8 goals.
That was in 2019 in a game. Hold on, I could pull it up for you. I sent that to X. I thought it was quite fun. Hold on, I'll pull that up. Dave Johnson says, "Let Kim read everything from now on." Well, here we go. We can let Kim. Well, I feel like we're putting her to work. That's not fair. Like I don't want to put our guests to work over here. We're giving them we're giving you an assignment, Kim. You're reading comments.
Do I have to do it in the TJ voice?
You could do it any voice you want. You could do them all different there. Okay, here you go.
Prince Chicken Wings, what's up, man? By the way, nice photo. Says Mayfield was good when he played with Aho. I can't do your voice. Mayfield was good when he played with Aho. Romanov has been bad.
Hold on, I've got to ask you. You said good photo. Are you? Let me ask you. Are you?
Oh no! Don't tell me you're a Danny Dimes fan too.
Big Blue, baby, every day.
Oh. You need Kim. Do you listen
Big
to
Blue, Big Blue?
Do you listen to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show?
I
Why
haven't,
not?
it's too late.
Why don't you?
I'm going to start.
Because we talk about the Giants almost every single show.
Giants, Jets, all the New York teams. But man, Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Jones is pretty bad. But
He's not the answer.
James,
Hey guys, preseason baseball is back. Yeah, I was excited
and
about
getting
that
ruined
today.
by the clocks.
Yeah, I did see that they're trying out the little. I mean, they do it.
Did you see, they ruined a tie 6-6 game late in the game. They immediately gave the strike 3 when bases were loaded because they ran out of time on the clock or something, or they didn't come back to to set up for the swing before 8 seconds. I heard or something.
Oh,
They immediately called them out.
fuck. I'll tell you, it is. Oh, yeah,
It was Braves and another team. I forget.
I think I can't remember if it was a Machado or somebody else, but I'll put this up here. I'll pull up the video of Putin because it's funny to watch how tough or how fantastic he is.
I'll tell you what.
Nice.
Let me tell you something. Are you going to let Putin's team beat you and let him score goals, or are you going to get executed like in the next 24 hours? I'm going to let him score.
He was fantastic out there on the ice.
Yeah.
So
Johnny Mack says, Grump, not happy with Auburn today. They must have lost to those Kentucky. I don't like Kentucky. I thought they'd beat Kentucky today, and it didn't happen. Son X is cluing me in over here. He's like my little he's like my little, whatever he's like feeds me information over here.
he's like Jamie from the Rogan podcast.
Whatever. Yeah. All right, Jamie.
State of survival.
Aho, Mayfield, they have the best record for least goals allowed per 60 amongst all defensemen playing 300 minutes or more, ahead of Makar and Taves.
Explosive diarrhea, Grubby.
Bo has been everything you'd hope for since the trade. He has been really good.
Yeah, I agree.
He's played.
I don't have a problem with the player at all.
Goon.
Lane is clearly in over his head. Poo-poo penalties, sleepwalking for entire periods, embracing the almost impossible to properly pull off Count Dracula hairstyle, etc.
Oh gosh. Okay, so
He does look like he could play Dracula
in some sort of musical. Okay, here it is. So this is I wish I could zoom in more on this, but it's a freaking Instagram video. So give me a sec. Let me try to zoom in.
There he is.
Hold on, we'll put it. I'm not sure if. Okay, no, it doesn't need to have volume on. It's going to be another language. Okay, so
him tripping.
They also have the one of him tripping. This is from 2019, but I'll let you watch.
No, I know. Yeah, I saw this.
Oh, look at that one.
Oh, look at that. Who's that? What's that? Oh my God. Look at the defensive effort.
That mega effort, though.
It's Romanoff back there.
Oh, shit.
No, that looks
Oh,
more
my
Jacob Truba.
God. That's embarrassing. He should be embarrassed to play. It's like when John DuPont had the wrestling team. And
Oh, I think that one was Darnell Nurse.
Oh, God. The wrestling team.
With Connor McDavid playing defense.
Oh, stop. They'd have to let him win every once in a while, Grumpy, or something.
Here it is.
Oh! And the guy number 2 saw it. He's like, dude, watch out. You're coming up on the carpet. Down he goes.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh.
Led his team to an 18-8 win against former NHL players. Yeah. If they want to live in Russia anymore, unless they had their bags packed and their families moved out, they're not playing to win that game. And like the jet is gassed up for them to get out of town.
Oh, God.
Look at this. Look at that defense.
It's Romanoff, baby. He's having a hell of a day.
Look, that's embarrassing.
Oh, God. Okay. That was a good one.
That was embarrassing.
Thomas Amadeo.
Martin was the best forward on the ice. How about that, says Thomas A.
We never said he was the best forward on the ice. We were saying he got better, though.
He's really one of the better forwards last few games. Yeah.
He's absolutely been playing well. I mean, like, as shocking as that is, and for the entire season. State of survival.
Lane is the opposite of Crapuano. Crappy didn't change any lines ever. Lane can't seem to keep the same players playing together ever.
Yeah.
Little dichotomy, dichotomy in the coaching styles there, perhaps.
Oh man,
it's a dichotomy.
Yeah.
And got a comment here from Gungun.
IslesGirl3, don't you agree that it's time for Son X to invest in a camera and properly show his identity?
Well, Gungun, when you invest in an actual profile picture, so he.
Oh! Shots fired.
Damn. Got a comment here from John Smith saying Kratzoff requested the trade. And Grumpy, would you have
preferred Gaudreau or Horvat? Horvat has been very good thus far. Gaudreau, he's done diddly on a doo-doo team. You could have had both of them. Why just pick one or the other? Why not go for both? Why not shoot the moon? They could have had Gaudreau for just money. They could have had him for money. They didn't. Luda did not want to do that. I thought he would have been a perfect match with Barzal. And then bring in Horvat. You know what? I'd feel so much better about that trade if I thought that we were trying to add somebody else in free agency. Tell me that's not a great first line. Gaudreau, Horvat, and Barzal. Watch out. And the power play. Tell me that's not a great power play.
Got here. Put Curtis.
Kim, you're dating a Rangers fan. That's deplorable.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
Wow.
It makes, I'm sure, for fun conversations regarding some hockey. Absolutely. And John McMahon said, TJ, that theory is Rose.
That theory of Rose, that's his wife.
Yes.
Is rearing its ugly head with Shesterkin. Married and a baby. That's right, Johnny Mac. She was 100% right on that. And we look at that now.
Baby fever.
It's like gospel. When players get married and have children, their game.
But think about it, though.
They're not focused on the game anymore.
Before you have kids, it's not a concern. That's not something you're focused on. But when you start having kids, it's like, okay, oh, well, the game we play, I got to focus on this. I've got to do that. And, but hey, when you don't have a kid you don't have a kid, you're not married, you're just over there focused on the game. And that's the only thing that matters. So you can fully invest yourself.
Watch out. That's how Milbury got fired from NBC Sports.
What? No, Milbury
got fired from NBC Sports.
No.
Milbury said something like
because he was a misogynist.
No, it's because of what he said about being away from
something. I don't know.
That's right. Being away and being in the bubble.
I think with Milbury, I mean, like, for all the shitty things he said, I'm like, they could have popped his ass plenty before that.
But that's why he got popped, was that comment.
I've always said this before.
We want Milbury on this show.
If anybody has any way to get in contact with Milbury, I want to bring him on this show. I want to have him as a guest or capacity to ask. I don't know if
why did you trade Roberto Luongo?
Why did you blow
see that start? Mike Milbury. Oh, it's so good to see you. Cheers.
Oh man, I'm sure he would
I
probably
remember
be
watching that game live. I remember watching that game live on Madison Square Garden. It was a Sunday night. The Rangers and the Bruins. It was a great game. It was great. You don't see stuff like that anymore.
Mm-mm.
That was hockey back in the day.
Wasn't that Ty? Was that Ty Domi who went after that fan behind the penalty box?
Yes, it was Ty Domi.
Yeah.
But Milbury went up in the stands.
Yeah, I know.
Oh goodness gracious! We got here comment
Think
there.
about how enraged you have to be to yank off a guy's shoe and beat him with it. Dude, you got to be really, really angry.
Like seeing red.
Like kill your family angry, like Jeffrey McDonald killed his family down in Fort Bragg in 1970. You got to be insane pissed to do that.
And freaking Islanders hired him as a GM.
Yeah, and coach.
Jesus Christ.
That's when they started with the fisherman jerseys.
Yeah.
Kravtsov
was drafted ninth.
Same year we drafted Wallstrom 11th. There was a lot. I mean, like you look at it, Joel Farabee he's like 13th or something like that. You look back on that draft, you're like, oh, yeah. There were some players drafted right around that area who really I won't say it too early because I still think it's too early on Wallstrom, but next year's a big year for him. Jake K.
As soon as Arthur Kaliev scored last night, I know Grumpy had the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. Absolutely, I did. I'm like, look at that. And then I saw how many goals he scored this year. I'm like, yeah, we could have had that guy, a goal scorer. Instead, we got Casper Holmstrom, the bench warmer.
Oh, good gracious. Goon, Grump.
Grumpy, if there was a magazine that focused on older, more confident go-getters, would you consider modeling for its cover? If they paid me enough, I would do it.
Oh my gosh. More confident go-getters. And then how come nobody ever asked the hard questions?
Does this have a confident go-getter look to it?
No, that's got I'm grumpy. I'm old and grumpy look to it. But
if I could do the eyebrow like Kim, I would do it.
Gugun says, how come nobody ever asked the hard questions? How did Han Solo not freeze to death outside in Hoth while Luke had to sleep soundly? While Luke slept as soundly as Lou Lamoriello circa the trade deadline inside a dead Tauntaun. Tauntaun, who the hell that is.
I believe that he shoved them in there.
But he's saying, how did Han Solo survive outside the freezing cold?
I thought that maybe he wasn't outside. Maybe he was kind of in there too. Maybe they both climbed in there.
One who was Little Spoon, who was Big Spoon. These are important questions that Islander or that Star Wars.
Luke was doing no spooning at all because he took a slash action. Okay, so it was Han Solo. He's the one. He was doing the spooning to bring Luke back to life. I don't know how long a Tauntaun keeps its temperature after getting slit in the belly like that, but probably not too long. But he had no problem. I bet you Luke pissed him off. He's like, yeah, I'm going to shove you inside this stinky ass carcass of a Tauntaun. And then, you can come back and say thanks tomorrow morning.
Oh, good gracious. Good gracious. I'll let you read here. Next one. With Barry Richmond.
Barry Richmond says you can come back quicker from a slight tear of the meniscus than the ACL tear. However, Islanders may just be shutting him down as a precaution, which is probably for the best. The thing is, we're never going to find out what the injury is. Won't happen. Ponyboy Curtis says, who would you trust more in a psych appointment visit, Dr. Grumpy or Dr. Bailey? You're getting tough love from me. I'm going to tell you what, not some softy ass shit that you're getting from Josh Bailey.
So probably not good to be with Dr. Grumpy. Then.
Only if you want to get cured. If you want to keep on being a mamby-pamby who, oh, don't worry, it's okay.
My depression is gone.
Like, what do you have to be
response? Stop being sad, damn it. Grumpy cured depression.
Grumpy. I was buck up and be a man. That'll be $12,000.
Suck it up, buttercup.
The wicked 50 cal.
What's going on, TJ, Grump, and Kim? Any predictions on if the Islanders sell? What could we get for Parise, Varley, and Mayfield if they were all dealt? I think 2 firsts and a second or third. I think that's fair. You know what we're going to get? Dungats on a stick. That's what we're going to get because he's not going to do anything, this guy.
If we got 2 firsts, a second, and a third at this year's trade deadline by moving guys on expiring deals, I would completely change my tone on the trade that was made for Bo Horvat and with Lou as a general manager, because that's what the team needs to do. If you can add 2 firsts, a second, and a third for guys who are going to be on expiring deals, and if you really want them, you can go out there and try to sign them in free agency. Retain 50% of the cap hit on every single one of those to make the deals more, appetizing, more palatable for these other teams. But I mean, like, Mayfield doesn't have a big cap hit. Parise doesn't have a big cap hit. And Varlamov, if you retain half, has a $2.5 million cap hit. Great. And get the value. Get some picks coming back. Go ahead and regroup and just run with Bolduc and whoever you need to plug in as a backup for the last 4 or 5 games. And hell, you still may be in the playoff picture because you're going to lose a guy who's the bottom pairing defenseman in Mayfield and your backup goalie and third line winger Parise. But we are having some forward depth, so maybe that does kind of rule us out of the postseason picture.
AJ Piazza says,
Piazza! Grumpy, it's Piazza!
Don't make me tell that story. Maybe
You
I'll
can
tell
tell
that
it again.
story.
You can tell it again. You can tell it again. It's a funny story.
All right.
It gives me a chance to continue to get all caught up comment-wise.
Okay. Well, yes. Okay. Let's be respectful of Kim's time also, though. Please try.
Okay.
Man, she's using that eyebrow all the time now.
Sorry.
Every time I see it. No, I'm glad it makes me smile every time I see it. One time, TJ's favorite ball player was Mike Piazza when he played for the Mets.
Nice.
And he was notorious for not signing autographs before games. Just didn't do it. And we had son X, who was cute and precocious as hell when he was younger. And we got there really early before the game. And I said to TJ, who was, gosh, how old was TJ? Probably 9, 8, maybe. Young. And I said, TJ, keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. I'm going to have Nick call out to Mike Piazza to have him come over. And because we were talking with, one of the ushers. And he's like, and there was nobody in the stadium. It was like really early on a matinee game. And son X goes, Mr. Piazza. And he was so cute. Mr. Piazza, could you come over and sign for me? And then he starts coming over and TJ yells, Piazza! And he just he was coming right towards him. Bing! He just took a 180 and just went the exact opposite direction. I'm like, damn it, sunshine. I told you just keep your mouth shut. We had son X was going to get you the autograph and you dropped the ball literally. What a failure. At a young age, couldn't listen, could not follow orders.
God, it's like he was a child.
Like he was a child.
Crazy. Like a child, Grumpy.
I wouldn't let him watch the game. You're banished from the game. Sit outside.
Get out of the shay. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
Do you think we should, and AJ Piazza, I don't think, maybe a relationship to Mike Piazza, doubtful? Says,
hey, if that's the case, AJ, I need an apology from Mike Piazza for scarring my childhood. The only way that this could be made right is via Mike Piazza writing me a handwritten letter apologizing for his behavior when I was 8 years old. When I yelled, Piazza! No, just kidding. Funny boy, Curtis.
But AJ did have an actual question.
Shit.
That said, do you think they said, should we have been in on Kravtsov since he cost basically nothing? And you know what? Why not? But here's the thing. Would the Rangers be willing to deal with us? Doubtful.
I was about to say, if they had Robin Salo, we obviously have no interest in Robin Salo anymore.
Okay. I don't know. I don't want to give up on Robin Salo yet.
I'm just saying it looks like the team is, or it looks like general manager / head coach is. Okay. So, I mean, he's 25 years old. Anyway, Peter Curtis says, Kim, what's your spirit Pokemon? And why are you dating a Rangers fan? But what's your spirit Pokemon?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Snorlax.
The fact that you know who Snorlax is.
I told Grumpy that, and I should have had him guess.
I wouldn't have got that. I would have just said
Uncle Leo.
I would have said Jigglypuff.
Hold on. You said, what about Uncle Leo?
His name is Uncle Leo.
Oh, my God.
Uncle Leo is the name of her Snorlax.
Wow. I would have just said Jigglypuff. It's the only one I know. I know Charizard, Pikachu, and then Jigglypuff. I think those
what
are
noise does Pikachu make?
He's always behind me on the podcast, and we decided to name him. That's when we had Uncle Leo on the team during that cup run year. So
Uncle Leo.
Uncle Leo.
What does Pikachu say, Grumpy?
Pika!
Pika! It stays says Grumpy's cooking. Let him cook.
Yeah, why not?
Oh man.
And Kim, TJ has no inner fan left in him. He's actually a closeted Red Wings fan.
That's the
He's
new
been
one.
pumping the Red Wings for 2 years now.
I said this year would be the year they're in playoff contention. And what do you know, Grump? What do you know, Grumpy? I'm not wrong. Newt says Grumpy is quite the salesman. Ponybook Curtis disagrees, says Grumpy has to be the sleaziest salesman of all time.
Oh, even better. Can I sell product? Can I push 10? That's what I want to know. That's why you say selling cars was pushing 10.
Patrick H says, I'd love the TJ in show. I think he purposely just determined to leave the grumpy old man off, but he likes the TJ show. Thank you.
The TJ show. Okay. Grumpy, thank you for informing me on the Raycon deal for the buy one, get one half off. I just bought 2 pairs of earbuds for myself and my wife's boyfriend. Wow. Okay. Can't wait for them to show up too.
He's just always joking around. Yes, it was get 15% off, not buy one, get one half off for Grumpy. Lou,
I'm just trying to sell product. That's all I'm trying to do. Lou Rivera says this dump and chase game is not for them. The whole game is about puck possession. That's the way the modern NHL is played. It is.
Yeah, just entering the zone is a big issue for them.
It certainly is. It's like a force field goes up over the blue line.
Facts.
They're like, whoa! It's like they skate through jello. It's like they're coming up on it, and all of a sudden they go, woo. Everything goes in slow motion, like they're skating through jello. Help me! Move the puck. Okay, sorry.
And got a comment here from Drew L saying here, somebody else needs to be a mod. Add more mods, TJ. Yes, if you want to be a mod, just message me or something like that, and we can make you a mod if you want to be able to help us try to get things sorted out. It keeps it easier on us. Matthew S says, TJ not showing comments on screen. Fire him now.
I would say we have to keep TJ. Without TJ, there is no podcast.
Oh, there it is. Patrick H says, second
place is a set of steak knives.
That's Glenn Ross.
That's right.
And that is you got to watch the movie.
What's third prize?
You lose your job.
You lose your job. You better learn how to sell.
A car, steak knives, or you lose your job.
That's right.
The Wicked 50 Cal.
Kim, what type of nurse are you? ER, ICU, cardiac, med surg?
Well, it's actually there. Cardiac.
There you go.
There it is.
Cardiology, telemetry.
Oh, man. And got here, Declan. He's got all black on.
What if you send Varley and Mayfield in a package to Edmonton because they could use both? They are definitely looking to add a D-man. You can get there first in that package, I bet. I bet so, too. But remember, Varlamov still has a modified no trade, and I don't think he wants to go to Canadian teams. So, that you're kind of limited that way. But whoever's not on the list, I'm moving him to.
Got a comment here from Price Chicken Wing said the biggest problem about trading Varlamov is that pesky 16-team no trade clause.
There you go.
Everybody we sign gets one of those at the tail end of their contract as a UFA. It just happens. Declan, Grumpy.
What if you send Varley and Mayfield to Edmonton in a package to get there first? They're definitely looking for defensemen, and Skinner hasn't been that great lately, let in 6 on 25 shots against the Jackets. That was a follow-up to the previous question by Declan. So, yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed. He just got to be moved. I know he doesn't want to be moved to any Canadian team, so it's got to be a team in the States for Varley. Nick D said, good call on the leaders of the cul-de-sac crew, Grumpy. Anders is the leader, Josh, and then Cal. And Shay did confirm. Fun fact, Kim took the picture of me and Salo last year. I don't know if she remembers, but it's a true fact.
I did remember. I pointed out even before she said it.
You got a mind like a steel trap, that Kim.
There it is. John Smith, Grumpy.
Grumpy blowing up the ad read is the best. LOL, poor TJ.
Newt says, what's the NBA?
No, he said, what's an NBA?
Oh, there it is.
Actually, it was improper grammar. What's a NBA?
This must be the same guy there.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. Patrick H says here, cancel the party at the Garden.
Facts.
Oh gosh. And then Swamp Box 29.
Will Binky the Buzzard Lou? Yeah, it does look like Lamorello a little bit. Do something prior to the deadline and his bleak. Nope. That's the Binky the Buzzard Lou. That looks like him. Nope.
He does look like it.
Oh man. See, we don't even make cartoons like that anymore.
I couldn't tell you what the cartoons are these days, to be honest.
Well, neither could I. Do they even make cartoons anymore?
I think
they do.
Puttiger said, Kim just earned 30 points in my book, in my book, correctly quoting The Outsiders.
Very
cool.
good.
What can I redeem for that?
Nothing.
Thomas Amadeo, Grumpy.
You think we're going to hold this wild card spot, or the Red Wings might crash the party? They could. Today was a big game. They came out, and I'll tell you what, they should have beaten the Lightning today. It's the difference between having a top-level goalie and Husso. That was the difference in today's game. Vasilevsky was Vasilevsky tonight, and Husso let in a couple of goals. That one goal was it was a good shot, but he let in one that was kind of weak. But I mean, the Red Wings dominated that game.
We got a few more here. We're gonna get
keep dancing, Grump.
Keep dancing, Grump. We're not gonna be able to get to every comment. We apologize, guys, but again, being respectful of Grumpy, Kim's, and my time. We've been providing great content, but we won't be able to get through every comment. But just the last few here. Dave Johnson said Putin is slower than Lee.
No, he's not.
Oh gosh,
he looked twice as fast as Anders Lee.
And Nick D.
Grumpy, which goal is better? Beauvillier goal, game 6. Tavares' goal to beat the Florida to get us in the second round, 23 years, or the Volek goal to end the dynasty. Minus Ferrari to Volek. Absolutely. People forget how great that Pittsburgh team was. 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, and we were a scrappy team without Pierre Turgeon. And that goal, I mean, you could hear that was a Friday night. You could hear a damn pin drop when Volek scored that goal. And you just heard all the Islander guys yelling on the bench. That crowd was just like, holy shit, we lost. They couldn't believe it. The Penguins were a tremendous team back then. Tremendous. The biggest play was our buddy Rich Pallon laying out Kevin Stevens, just knocking him out cold, breaking his face. And that was the changer in that game. That changed the tenor of the game. It really did. Right now, today, that's a penalty. Rich Pallon's taken off to the gallows and off with his head. But back then, it was a clean play.
What a film saying here. Hello, everybody. Nice having Kim on the show. It absolutely has been.
You don't need to lie, Sean.
Oh, Patrick Amos says here.
Were you drinking that night, Grump? No, I was not.
I love his profile picture.
The Kermit the Frog. Yeah. There you go. What a film's there,
Kim, is the yes, yes, yes a cool chant live?
Absolutely.
Anything that, oh, God, I hate
Absolutely.
it. Anything that reminds me of JT,
Grump.
I don't like.
You know what's the perfect thing about that? Is we started doing that because people like Grumpy complained about it. So Grumpy, yes.
People like Grumpy further make the fans happy just to troll them.
That and TJ in a muscle shirt make.
I wonder if Grumpy started it because they said it was an old man complaining.
No, let me tell you something. Here's the thing: the chant wouldn't bother me, but they stole it from Daniel Bryan when he was in WWE. That was his thing. Is yes, no. Come up with your own freaking chant. Don't steal it from professional wrestling, please. No.
You could say this. Then you could say the same thing about baseball players and like Diaz coming up with the freaking narco song. Oh, well, it's Timmy Trumpets. You can't steal it. Like what?
Oh
Timmy Trumpet is not a chant. That's a song.
Matter.
And it's a great song.
If there's something fun, you enjoy doing it, something for everyone that's easily to get behind, go ahead and share it. Like, go ahead and, spread the love. Grumpy's like, nah, get your own shit.
No. Don't steal it from a professional wrestler. No.
I didn't mind it. It was like, okay, whatever. It's just what we
have
do.
so much fun with it. I hope it lasts forever.
I hope it doesn't. I hope there should be a penalty for that.
It's a state of survival, Grump.
Grumpy, do you remember the Nescafe Super Bowl commercials in the early 90s? They were great. Always waiting to see to see what happened. I don't remember those commercials. Do not.
I miss the old good NHL commercials though.
I'm telling you, they used to have a lot of really good. Even like MLB was like chicks take the long ball, like that type of stuff was like funny stuff.
The
But you
Sedin
can't do
brother
that.
commercial.
Yeah.
That is my favorite all-time commercial. That one, and I'll give it to one. The most recent one that's been good was the Walrus commercial with Geico.
The new Geico commercial.
I like the one
trying to score a goal with the Walrus in it.
Oh,
And
I
they're
like
like, "Way to
the
go,
one-
Duncan!"
I like T-Mobile. I
like.
like the T-Mobile commercial at the Super Bowl where John Travolta came out with the two guys from Scrubs,
I didn't see it.
Donald Faison and Zach Braff, and he was singing a song from Grease. I thought it was nice, cute, little throwback for me.
IslesGirl3 is rock and roll dead as a doornail.
Hell no! I listened to primary rock and metal. You just listened to the wrong bands, my friend.
Oh, that's the Goon Goon.
Goon he's been buried alive
And
tonight.
posterized. No, Goon is a big Brock fan, but I think it was more.
Man, you have no idea how you just crushed him today. That was Kim. You're back up on my good graces after that comment today, and you don't even know why, and that's the best part. Oh, oh my goodness!
Grumpy, what a films.
So happy for Bo Horvat, a fine young man, a terrific hockey player. I'll double that. I'll second that. He's the guy I wanted. Absolutely wanted.
I don't know how this came up in the conversation, but
Ross would destroy TJ. Grumpy would throw a sliding leg kick and trip him up and body slam him. Go Grumpy.
Ross versus Grumpy.
Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Oh, Grumpy will cheat.
Now, see, that's from Jesse the Body Ventura.
Christ almighty.
Hey, if you can go yes, 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 I can quote those things.
Oh, man. Got a comment here from Goon, Grumpy.
Nystrom 80 goal was the best. Lucky to see it on TV as a young pipsqueak, but the Tonelli goal versus the Pens in 82 made Grumpy's toes tingle, guaranteed. Everyone thought they were losing that game. I never thought they were losing that game. Maybe because of my age and you just seen the team for so many years. Like I said, when we lost to Edmonton in 84, and we were really banged up. I didn't think there was any way we were losing to Edmonton. No way. And that was the end. It was right there, that end of the dynasty.
Nick D says, 80s Coke story. 80s Coke story. 80s Coke story. 80s Coke story. Grumpy. Didn't know anyone high on Coke looking for a dream police. Looking for the dream police.
That was Cheap Trick's follow-up to Cheap Trick Live at Budokan, which was the biggest album. Prince Chicken Wing says Shea gets whatever she wants except Salo in the NHL. Oh man, people throwing shade at Shea.
I was about to say people are throwing shots all over the place.
Here's the thing. This show, there's nothing. Everyone's getting shots thrown at them.
Like family.
That's right. This is like family. This show is like family. We take shots at one another. Hey, we take shots at you. You take shots at us. It's okay. Goon says, "Oh man, he's coming back for more."
These are from earlier, so Goon hasn't responded.
IslesGirl3, will the Islanders make the playoffs, or will they prove to be as honest and trustworthy as a John Spano handshake agreement?
I like the analogy there. But I always have hope. Grumpy hates that I always have hope, but I do.
I do not hate that you always have hope. I just think it's misguided at times.
That's fair.
But yes, playoffs it sounds. Playoffs it is. Yeah, we might be able to. There's just a few things. Because a lot of things have to go our way, though, in order to do that.
JP says, poor Fredo. We have no idea what the dynamic and the relationship is between Lou and Fredo. Fredo might be running things differently. There's no way we really know. All I know is he's never had a job without his daddy giving it to him. Ever. Never freaking ever. He's been riding in daddy's coattails since he got out of college.
Oh, there it is. Shay, Grumpy.
I'm buying myself one of those jerseys tomorrow.
The fisherman's
talking about the Bridgeport
fisherman. Yeah.
JP says, I wouldn't be totally shocked if Kane went to Toronto.
I would.
Explosive Diary says, I miss the Fire Cappy days.
I don't.
Fire
That was fun.
cow.
We had no hope in that era.
Kind of like now. Nick D says, "Hey DJ, let's have D Cut as a guest one time since the Islanders Misery Rated R doesn't have a YouTube channel."
That was awesome. We invited D-Cut on.
Oh,
Before.
TJ's throwing shade at D Cut with. Listen to the tone. He's like, "Yeah, we invited him. He's not man enough
He's
to
a
come
good
on the show." That's what TJ's
Oh!
trying to say.
No, I didn't say that. But he's been invited on. If he ever wants to come on, he's more than welcome to. It's Dave said, I agree with Tony Cheese. Drew's a creep. I don't know why that's going on. But I'll just never say that podcast. You want to know why? It's because Tony had nothing better to do with his life when he gets bored.
Oh,
God.
wow. This is when he got married. It was today.
Tony Cheese says, Drew has summoned me for my honeymoon. And by honeymoon, I mean watching my pregnant wife eat ice cream.
Oh, shit.
Aw. Congratulations, though.
Yeah, there. Look at that. There we go. There you go.
We've
Congratulations.
already given. He's not getting any more congratulations from us. We said congratulations on Thursday night. We don't want to overdo
Why
it.
not one time
I don't
congratulations?
want to
I
spoil
didn't
him.
get to say it.
I don't want to spoil him with too many congratulations.
Grumpy.
Gungu says, Grumpy, is TJ, have you ever been asked to sign an autograph in an Islanders game? If I asked you for an autograph, would you be my friend?
I think it would be weird to sign an autograph, but I was like, okay. No, we've never been asked to sign an autograph at a game. No.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, stop. When the film said, Grumpy's heart is golden. Just got to hammer down a way to find it.
It's
Oh,
true.
ways to find it. Oh, God.
Right.
Tony G says,
His little leg.
Grumpy's a big old softy, literally and metaphorically.
Oh, wow. See, now shots
Big
at
old
Grumpy
softy.
today.
This is a big old softy, Grumpy. Patrick Hamos, Grumpy Old Man to New York Islanders. Hire me. Islanders say references. Grumpy Old Man says Little League Baseball or Little League, you son of a bitch.
That's it.
And he says, I think AIDS, you're talking about devilitis and Simon Holmstromism. I think AIDS is pretty bad. I don't want to be infected with AIDS for sure, says Tony Cheese.
Okay. I don't think that was one of the options, but okay.
That's what he's trying to avoid. But what a film says, and Kim rocks. She is the shit. I love New York.
No. She's in the shit, is what it says. She's in the shit.
Oh,
I don't know what that means, but it's probably not good. But, you know,
in the
she's
shit?
swimming around in the shit. Okay. Look at her. Doing a little, whatever that stroke.
breaststroke.
Breaststroke.
Okay. That was the breaststroke. Okay.
And
All
TJ
right.
not wearing TJ not wearing muscle shirts. A handsome man, and Grumpy is the man, handsome as ever. Thank you, Sean. Look at all the comments. Look at all the compliments. Thank you, there, Sean. Thomas Amadeo, Grumpy.
Kim, how much do you spend on team apparel? Now that's a personal question. You got a serious amount of memorabilia.
I'm scared to say how much I spent on team apparel.
You don't need
I mean,
to.
I didn't buy this. Some of it's not bought. Some of it I was smart on, like especially the Leonard jerseys. Got blanks. I had a buddy of mine who, thank you so much to my friend who sewed them on for me. But like, I can't help it when I see stuff like this. You know, like
Oh, that's kind of flashy.
I can't help it.
You guys,
And I got the wristband on. Like I just can't help it.
did you get the? Because I can't remind me, Kim. Do you guys have
Thanks,
season
Mom.
tickets? Oh,
Yeah, they have season tickets, right?
Yes.
so you guys got the little puck, the season.
Yes,
ticket puck
that's
for 50 years.
my grandfather has that. Yes.
I was about to say that was cool. I'd like that one. Like I
That
was
was-
like when they went up on
You
eBay.
picked it
right
up, you
after
were like, holy crap! Thing
I was
weighs like
like-
40 pounds. I was like, Jesus.
And when Grandpa comes to visit Kim, he goes, "Ha ha! This is mine, not yours."
Nah.
Well, he's the one that gave me the bossy game use stick over there.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't see that. You didn't break that out.
I wouldn't break that. Grumpy. Grumpy, you sounded like a Simpsons character when you did that. Oh gosh. Let's see here.
Nice.
It's so cool, like to see like his like their tape work and everything. I'm so curious about that with sticks and like what they. I'm trying to find where his name is stamped. There it is, Embossy. Embossy, I should say. I always say it wrong. But
I'll bet you that's not a composite stick.
No composite sticks back then, Grumpy.
Embossy.
Bad.
The boss.
It's just so cool to see like his actual tape work and everything like that. This is my baby. This-
Prized possession.
Absolutely. His
That's good
turbo.
because you're not getting that 50th anniversary puck from your grandfather. That's
Stop.
My grandpa is the best. You don't. There's no.
I didn't say he was.
disrespect
I
on the
didn't say he
grandpa,
wasn't.
okay?
I just said
That's
you're not.
grumpy.
All I said is you're not getting that puck. Mike is.
Oh, there it is.
You know, I'd be happy if he got it. He's a good fan.
Boy, listen to her kissing the brother's ass. She wants something from him bad.
Oh, yes.
Frank from Empire State says, "Hi, grumpy old man TJ, and especially Kim. Hello, audience. Just got home from band practice."
What's up, Frank? How are you? Tony Cheese says, sometimes we zoom into TJ's feed to see if his wife is reading anything new. Trust me, she does. She reads new books all the time. She's reading all the time.
Oh, so she's very literate, and then you're just the opposite.
There it is. You want to know how often I read books? Never. Maybe like once a year. Maybe read half a book.
Throw The Outsiders at you.
I read every day. I read every single day.
Yeah, most reading I don't read.
Most reading you do are when you butcher the comments and the ad reads.
Sure. Mary Lord says, Pigman by
Pigman, not Pigman. Pigman, not Pigman.
There it is.
By Paul Zindel. The characters were John Conlon, Lorraine Jensen, and Anthony Pignotti, two teens. Absolutely.
Angelo Pignotti.
That's the book. Yes. That was the book. I remember that book as well. Mario says, Brady lives off the accuracy of Vinatieri. Oh, please. If he misses those 3 field goals, Grumpy wouldn't be calling Brady the GOAT, which is not. Okay. All I know is in that Vinatieri missed 2 field goals in the Super Bowl against the Panthers. That game wouldn't even have been close. He missed a 31-yarder and a 36-yarder. You got to hit your field goals. Vinatieri, for as good as he was, and he's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a kicker, he missed a lot of freaking kicks. But he hit the big ones in the Super Bowl. That counts for a lot.
Mario said, they're not new rules. The pitch clock and the batter's box not being allowed, or the batter not being allowed to step out of the batter's box, have been on the rule book for ages. They just haven't been enforced. It's a different story.
The pitch clock has not been. That's
I just started that in minors like 2 years ago, last year. Patrick Himmel says, Beaky Lou, and he's laughing his ass off. Paul Feynman said, Kim, are you on the fire Lou train yet, or at least the no longer in trust in Lou, or Lou and Lou we trust camp?
I want a new general manager.
Yes, finally.
Yes,
it took a while to wear her down. 3 hours and 30 minutes, and she's finally come around to the dark side. Frank K says, looks like ownership are buying up the tickets. They announced a fake standing room sellout crowd last night. This is a scheme to keep and get more season ticket holders. All I know is every time I look at the game, you go to the game.
I don't think it's fake, because you look on like StubHub or anything, and their seats are available. You can buy those seats, like it's in second party sellers, like they're bought up by buyers to be then secondary sold. So it is possible that those seats are sold via just like the first general sales, like Ticketmaster, things like that. And then like it's just secondary sellers that's why you don't see seats full, because secondary sellers are trying to sell those seats off.
Will you say that the stands look empty a lot of the times, particularly the lower bowl?
Make that judgment when you're in the first 5 minutes of the first. I never make that judgment, but I do it towards the end of the first period, because a lot of people, they're grabbing sodas, they're grabbing food, they're walking around, and then it will be empty. And then when you go more towards in the game, like second period, that's when you'll see your crowd.
Sounds like people sneaking down from the upper levels.
Maybe, but you know what too, and that pissed me off too. Like, when I go to a game, I buy a ticket. I sit my ass down and I watch the entire game, win or lose. Like, I don't get the beat the traffic crowd. You're not beating any goddamn traffic. You're not. You're just doing it earlier. In my personal opinion, why are you wasting? You're losing. Hard-earned money you paid to watch the end. And the end of the game's the best part. It could be exciting at the end of the game. It could be close. Like, why are you leaving? Why aren't you saluting your team, telling them thank you for playing, having a great game? The stars of the game. I love watching the interview. You miss all of that leaving early, and I notice it a lot too. People who sit up top. People who I feel like those are your truer fans. People who can sit up higher. Because they're buying it cheap. They're just trying to get to a game. While the people down lower, you're getting to your suit seats. I last game I watched as we scored the empty net goal, and the people who left early were all in the lower bowl, and I'm like, I'm like, it says a little something, but I just don't get the beat the traffic crowd. You're not beating anything. You're still going to sit in traffic just like the rest of us are. And honestly, get the traffic sometimes out of there isn't that horrible. Like, come on, guys. For 10 minutes of traffic, I will sit in my seat and watch the end of the game.
I'm about to say,
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Yes. That's how you know.
I love it. State of Survival says, seriously, those Nescafe commercials.
Nescafe.
That doesn't even fucking exist anymore, Grumpy. How you expecting me able to?
Because I read it earlier and I knew when I saw it, he's gonna butcher it. I know he's gonna butcher this word.
You want to know how much I was like when you read that word, I will never run across again. I didn't commit that to any sort of memory. I said, move on to the next thing.
I don't want you reading any comments with words longer than six letters.
Okay,
no more than that.
You've got this comment then, because comments more than
Wings
6.
is my brother, so don't worry. I gave it to him for that comment about Salo in the NHL.
I like that.
I don't know who Wings is.
I did not know that.
The person who said that she could get away with she can get anything from Salo she wants except him playing in the NHL. That comment was Shay's brother.
Shay's brother taking shots at Shay. I love it.
Paul Feinstein.
Paul F says, "Hey Kim, I won't hold it against you that you are a statue Chara defender." Oh, wow,
yeah, straight I am.
I did like the little emblem she's got. Now I got to check out Isles Lab. Patrick Amos. There's a lot of shrapnel out there.
Very true.
And Grumpy sounded like Krusty the Clown with that laugh.
Krusty the Clown.
Yeah. Thomas Adeo says, great podcast, TJ Grumpy Man and Kim. Appreciate the content, guys. Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate it. And Mario says here, that pitch rule says that if there's nobody on bases and the pitcher has to deliver the ball within 10 seconds, otherwise a ball is called. Okay. So gotcha. Learn something new. But we are here at the end of the show today, guys. Well, first off, I want to make sure, thank you, Kim and Grumpy, as always, for your time. But Kim, really quickly, I want to hear before, obviously we want to get reminded, how can we find you? Where can we find Kim in the crease? And I'll pop that up too for view. But what is the best case scenario for the Islanders the remainder of this season? What do you think best case scenario is?
Best case scenario is, the best thing that could happen for us is that we do get picks and make playoffs. That is obviously best case scenario in the long run. But we're going to see what happens. I think everyone's right with Lou. Like, he's going to stand pat. I think he might stand pat again, and we're going to be the only team not making a trade. We've seen it before. We'll maybe see it again. So it's going to be interesting. I have no idea what's his focus, his aim. Obviously, he's not very open about usually what his aims are. So
that's what his wife
happens. We'll see what happens. I have no way to predict what this team will do or what Lou Lamoriello will do with this team before next Friday. It's going to be up in the air, but we have to roll with the punches and roll with what is as fans. We wish we talk about all the time what we'd like for this team, but in the end we're the backseat riders watching as things happen with this team. So we have to see and wait and hope that things can swing our way.
And tell us one more time where obviously is the best place we can find you, how often you do Kim in the Crease. I want to know, for those who are new, their first time listening, you got to meet Kim today. IslesGirl3, how do we find you? When's the best time to find you and where?
So this is my Twitter, IslesGirl3. It's so funny. I'm like reading my description now. I totally forgot about this. Where I say the famous Jen follows me. I don't know if you know Jen's 95. She's a really big, she does a lot of we had a private joke back and forth of calling each other famous, so we put it in our bios that we follow each other as a joke. I get asked about that so many times, but she does she's also a great YouTuber, and she does she's a hockey goalie in real life. She has fun with that, and she does she gets highlights from all the games around the NHL on her channel. But other than that, I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube under the same names. Podcasts I'm going to be doing it tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I do it every Sunday as possible. I try to keep updated with what's going on in the Discord on my, just keep you guys updated with uploads. This is my regular YouTube. I did a breakdown with the new arena right there with Deke Slayer. He's a Twitch streamer. And I do just sometimes just fun hype videos, get people, optimistic, get them hyped, get them, have fun. And then sometimes I'll jump on, we'll do game streams. I'll try to do some play-by-play for you guys. And then you get to see my reactions straight up. If something goes terrible with this team or if something fantastic happens, you'll see it right there in black and white. So if you want to come join, you can find me right here on my YouTube, same as my screen name.
And on Discord, she's also got the Discord where you can interact and share opinions with other, like-minded Islander fans. Discord's too tough for me to manage that too and everything.
I want you to scroll down a little bit.
Okay, Grumpy, how far?
A little bit more. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right, stop right there. Right there. Why is my name not in there? That's what I want to know.
We just need a picture of Grumpy Old Man. Just say, follow the Grumpy Old Man. Little League Baseball champion and machine, the Grumpy Old Man. Oh, good gracious. And how do they find the Discord link?
The Discord link. If you come to my podcast tomorrow, I'm gonna pop it right up in the chat. I usually have my moderators pop it up in the chat all through my streams. I don't have it I have my Discord over here, but I can't pop it in the chat right now. So if you're able to come to the podcast tomorrow, you can get the link right there on my chat.
The link, there it is. But Kim, what do you want to say before we start wrapping things up?
As much as this team is frustrating, we've been through hell and back with this team. I'm never going to stop believing in them. I want them to make playoffs. I always think we can go far, even though the odds are stacked against us. I was waiting for it, Grumpy. I was waiting. But I am a diehard optimist of this team. That pisses a lot of people off, especially Grumpy.
It does not piss me off. I find it amusing. And Kim, you know that I love you. So that's why I find it amusing.
But
don't worry.
You know what? I will always have hope and optimism because I got that from my grandparents. My grandparents, every single game, and they taught me well, is that any team can win on any given day and win on any situation. It doesn't matter if that you're facing the first place team or the last place team. You go out with heart, soul, determination. And as a fan, I do the same thing with my team. I give them my heart, soul, and determination.
Wow.
So just, I say on my stream all the time, teams would not be who they are and would not be as strong without the fans' support, dedication, and passion. So give it, no matter what team you follow, give it your all.
Excellent. Woo,
I was articulate. That was well
what are you trying to say? That she's not articulate?
No, I'm just saying that was well verbalized. He reads, Grumpy. There it is.
Oh.
But Grumpy, what do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the Grumpy Old Man, and Kim from IslesGirl3. From whatever all those things that TJ said. Yes. Listen to TJ and Grumpy Old Man show tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm just glad we could finally get a date together because
absolutely.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. We always love having Kim on and
give us 2 thumbs up. Subscribe.
That's right.
Whatever.
And thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. We'll be live. Next Islander show will be this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show before Kim and the Crease. You can catch it at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. We'll just talk all things sports. Then you can jump right on Kim's show right after that. So get an evening full of media and entertainment, all sports related. It'll be fun. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the show and watching. Thank you so much, Kim, for joining us here today. And Grumpy, thank you again as always.
My pleasure.